And away we go on a Tuesday. Happiness is a choice. Thank you for choosing us. Along with James Westling, I am Ari Temkin. This is Big 12 Today, presented by Modelo. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. We got a busy show for you today, a lot to get to. We've got the college football playoff starting this week. This is the week of the playoff. Getting ready, of course, for the Orange Bowl with Texas Tech and maybe Oregon, probably Oregon, maybe James Madison. Plus, the transfer portal is open. Well, it's not, but it is. But it's not, but it is. We'll give you details on that. What's going on with you? How are you?
Man, that's a great point about the transfer portal. Like, we're going to condense the portal window, make it very clear that the portal doesn't start until this date, but the players that are going to be in the portal say, hey, when the portal opens, I'm going to be in the portal. I'm not leaving this job, but here's my 2 weeks.
He's not technically in the portal, but he's in the portal.
But he's going to be in the portal. He's in the portal without being in the portal officially.
Can you be half in the portal? Apparently.
1 foot in the portal, 1 foot out.
I just picture the tubes from Super Mario Brothers. And the noise, you know, when you go down the green tubes, that's what the portal is.
What's at the bottom of the portal? Nobody knows.
Fireballs? Maybe
Fireballs.
Bowser? Certainly a new outfit. You get to wear a new outfit if you're Mario.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or if you're in the transfer portal.
Now, you're a regular hooper, right? I've seen you on the court.
Have you?
I've seen you. I've seen you enough.
Okay.
Not in a organized setting, but
Okay.
We've shot some videos. I've seen your Jay. But you strike me as a guy that really leans into defense. Like, in your shorts, I'm going to just hound you and pester you to the point where you don't want any part of this.
What is that? What? Are you saying I have a bad offensive game, and so I've got to at some point overcompensate for
No,
the
I'm
fact
not.
that I can't shoot or score?
I think defense is personality driven.
I mean, you got to play both ways, James. You got to get it going.
Right. So defense, I think, is all a mentality,
Yeah.
a mindset,
Oh yeah.
a belief.
I will lock you down, James.
See, and that's your personality, right? That's how I knew that you lean into defense. So last night I'm trying to explain to one of my boys, my stepson, the importance of defense, because we've noticed that at the age of 10, he's very much bought into the offensive end of the floor. Okay, there's not a shot he doesn't like, but now we need to come full circle, and we need to lean into the defensive end of the floor. Like, we've noticed some cherry picking, and I mean doing everything we can to fill up the stat sheet on the offensive end. So I'm trying to talk to him.
Cherry picking. That starts at the home.
There's a foundational piece to that.
There's clearly some issues at the home that are going on that
Right.
are allowing this child to think I can cherry pick all I want, play one end of the floor.
Cutting
This isn't
corners.
hockey.
I'm with you on that. So trying to emphasize that defense matters just as much as scoring. So I'm talking about LeBron and MJ and Kobe and how MJ was, 2-time or 3-time defensive player of the year, but nobody talks about that. They all talk about his offense. And it got me thinking that I think maybe with today's youth, the core problem is that, in a lot of these local NBA markets, and you've talked about this at length, it's very difficult to watch your local team. You have to pay an incredible amount of money to get the entire season. It's almost cheaper to just buy like NBA League Pass, and who's going to do that?
So it literally is, by the way. It is literally cheaper to buy League Pass. Now, you can't get the Mavs in this market with League Pass, but you got to pay the $40 a month or whatever if you don't get your TV subscription that has it. So yeah, it's.
So there's a lot of homes that can't watch the Mavs here locally, or
and
whatever.
therefore probably won't be local sports fans, which, great for their bottom line long term. I'd advise against it, but here we are.
Yeah, and if kids can't watch games in their entirety, when they get on YouTube and they see all these shorts and they see all the highlights, what are they seeing? They're not seeing guys locking down on the defensive end of the floor. They're seeing guys hit 40-foot threes and all these high-flying dunks, and so they're missing that entire part of the game. And like I said, just trying to really drive home that point last night that, hey, we gotta play some D.
Yeah, I mean, at that age, defense is just not even a part of their vernacular. Like that, they don't even recognize that as because I mean it's the offense is the firepower. Even my 10-year-old who's really good on the defensive end. I mean he basically gauges how well he plays in a game by how many points he scores. And I'm like, dude, you should look at how many points you don't allow the team to score, how many points you take away, and factor that into the amount of points you score in a game. Rebounds. It's all impactful. Assists. I cannot get my son to see the value of assists. It's like maddening. It's like talking to a wall. I think the other thing about this too is, and I'm curious if you've noticed this also, and this is probably a good commentary on just people in general. I'm good at this. I don't need to practice that anymore. Like the belief of I got this, so I'm good with that. It's like, no, you need to practice your ball handling. No, I know how to handle the ball. No, you don't.
Right.
Like, the number one thing that I'm trying to teach both of my kids is dribbling. Because, every kid's like, I know how to dribble. It's like, yeah, but not in the way that you need to. Like, if you can dribble, you can get anywhere on the floor. Anywhere you want on the floor. And so scoring becomes so much easier when you can get anywhere you want to get. But all they look at is the shooting.
Yep. Totally.
Shots
and dribbling's a huge part of it. And then I brought up, to your point, the art of passing the basketball, because it's not cool at the age of 9, 10, 11, even up to high school to be an excellent passer. Nobody talks about the guys that make those incredible passes, like White Chocolate's not walking through the door, Jason Williams. Those kind of players don't exist anymore. It's all about, getting buckets. And I was trying to explain that, hey, if you become a great passer and teams start anticipating that, then that's going to open up more shots for you, and you're going to get even more and better looks. But this whole defense thing, there's no algorithm for a great closeout. There's no highlight reel of how to talk through a switch and communicate defensively. You just don't see those things, and it's getting lost.
I think you need to incorporate this in your broadcasts. Really emphasize a good closeout. Oh my God! Did you see that closeout? Go full on Gus Johnson during a broadcast.
Look at the feet on Flemings.
Oh my God, the box out! Have you ever seen as good of a box out in your life?
Hoover Dam defense. You're not getting through it. Hands like magnets. He's got 8 steals.
Shall not pass.
Oh, I like that one. I might actually write that down.
Producer Taven?
No, I just wanted to contribute by saying another problem that the youth have today when it comes to the NBA, their favorite players aren't the best defenders. I mean, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry.
Excellent point.
LeBron James, even though he was a great defender, he wasn't the defender he used to be, and these kids didn't grow up with that. I mean, the best defender would probably be Giannis, and Giannis plays in a small market that doesn't get seen a lot. So that probably contributes to it too. They're watching, James, you mentioned YouTube and whatnot. They're watching highlights of their favorite guys, but when they actually watch the games, their favorite players don't play defense. The guys they try to emulate.
Right.
So,
well, look, basketball as a sport is hard to play full throttle on both ends of the floor. It's why a lot of times if a guy's scoring a bunch, he's not going to be a great defender. He's going to take plays off because it's a how much do you have in the take sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously we've seen great players be great defenders.
Yeah.
And you named 3 of them. I would throw Tim Duncan in there as well.
Absolutely. And the team that, because they watch, what we do here and watch a lot of the games that I go broadcast, the team that I used as an example was Houston. I said, if you don't play defense for Kelvin Sampson at Houston, you don't get the chance to play offense. And they're much better offensively because of their defense. Watch these guys, and offense is cool and defense is optional at this age. So trying to kind of get that out of their brain that, hey, you got to play some D. There's 3 or 4 things that are considered rare moments in a basketball game. And it used to be a dunk or a 3. It's not that anymore. Everybody's shooting 3s. Everybody's dunking the basketball. I had a talent coach said, man, why are you going so crazy on a dunk? Everybody's doing it now. One of the things that is rare, though, is a blocked shot. There's only 5 or 6 blocks a game, both sides combined. If a player averages 1 or 2 a game, he's considered a really elite shot blocker. That's a defensive play that is a rare occasion in basketball, which magnifies the importance of it and the cool factor, if you will.
Yeah, just let the 10-year-old know that like you're going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to play unless you can play both ways.
And I said that too. I said, hey, and I framed it as
You got to get out there doing like defensive slide drills. I mean, really get in there.
I mean,
you know?
pointing, whistles, the whole deal, right? Left. And then
ball.
yeah, that. I framed it as, hey man, if you start playing defense like you're playing on the offensive end, the coach won't be able to take you off the floor. Because right now he's kind of like their offensive spark plug. Like he's not in the starting lineup. He's coming in off the bench.
Ooh, a sixth man.
He's a sixth man.
Wow.
He is the Ryland Griffin that we thought we'd see at Kansas.
Can we just not?
I don't know why I got.
Yeah, can we just not?
He's a really good sixth.
And now I've got Ryland Griffin all over my algorithm. Like I'm like for some reason you said his name. I mean, it's like the Candyman from the Candyman movie. Ryland Griffin. And like suddenly I'm getting all these Ryland Griffin clips. It's like, huh?
Okay,
how'd you know, IG?
That's real weird.
Well, it's not at all. They're literally listening.
Yeah.
It's nothing weird about that at all. Once you acknowledge that is happening.
It's happening. It's happening, and it's happening.
It's happening, and it's happening. This is Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, presented by Modelo with James Westling. I'm Ari Temkin. Great to have you with us today and every day here at your home for the Big 12. Tune in Big 12 Studios. All right, on this front, I heard this from Joel Klatt. Joel Klatt, of course, the average Fox commentator.
Ooh, shots at Joel Klatt.
I mean, I think he's severely overrated, but that's just me. I think he and Gus Johnson are both severely overrated, so they're perfect for each other. Actually, Gus is probably properly rated now. At any rate, Joel Klatt loves to say crazy things, including what he said yesterday about March Madness. Take a listen.
In fact, hot take. I mean, like the hottest of all takes that I've ever had in my entire life. The NCAA basketball tournament is a joke. It's the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament in all of sports. We go and we put teams at odd times on neutral sites in a one-game affair. Like that doesn't crown a true champion. We're not doing anything that tells us who's the best team over the course of the entire season. Like if anything, the NCAA basketball tournament should act exactly like the old World Cup, which we should have groups. They should all get guaranteed 3 games, and they should be played at the higher seeds arena so that those seeds are rewarded for a quality game. And that way we don't just get to see Kentucky one and done against George Mason or something like that. Well, that's stupid. That's stupid. Again, hottest of all takes, but that would make the NCAA basketball tournament far better. Neutral site, one and dones. What are we doing?
The NCAA basketball tournament is a joke. It's the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament in all of sports. We put teams at odd times on neutral sites. It's a one-game affair. That doesn't crown a true champion.
Come on. Anytime you have to preface your hot take with, this is my hottest take, I check out. Okay, I'm out. So essentially,
and I wanted to make sure that part was included, just so we knew that at least he was saying it's a hot take.
Yeah. He knows it's a hot take. Well, just give the take. It's either hot or it's not.
Let us decide how hot this hot take is.
Exactly.
The hot takes are the eye of the beholder. We know that.
So Joel Klatt is essentially wanting fairness over fun. Sure, there's upsets in the NCAA tournament. That's what makes it so great. And even with all the upsets, I think, number 1 seeds win the title 64% of the time, 25 of the last 39 tournaments. So this whole the best teams never win, that's simply not true.
Right. Like in a fairy tale world, I get what he's saying. In the real world, which we're all living in, last year, 7 of the top 8 seeds made the Elite 8. All 4 ones were in the Final 4.
Like the thing that makes the NCAA tournament so great is that the Cinderellas don't happen every year. The St. Peters of the world, the Florida Gulf Coast, the VCUs, the Butlers, the George Masons, the team that he referenced there. Bro, George Mason was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't happen every year.
By the way, I think it's more than 20 years ago. I think it was like the early 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was 07.
07.
There you go. Almost 20 years ago.
18 years ago
Yeah.
is the reference that you're going to pull and say, well, the NCAA tournament, it's stupid, it's dumb, because 17 years ago we had an 11 seed make the Final Four.
Meanwhile, TCU made a national championship appearance in a much more surprising fashion in college football, where only 4 teams made it way more recently than George Mason. And it's almost the same in terms of how big of an upset it was, considering that never happens when a team, from a preseason standpoint, expectation.
Totally. Absolutely. And the thing that makes tournament settings so great is that, yes, you get some upsets, but also the teams that advance and the teams that win championships, whether it's the college football playoff, the NCAA tournament, the Super Bowl, those are the best teams. They're the best teams at the end of the season. They're the teams that can work their way through that gauntlet and beat a variety of styles. They are the most well-rounded basketball, football, whatever type team. Like, he's just trying to eliminate any type of Cinderella in any fashion. Let's just completely get rid of the underdog. No, man, I'm not here for that. I don't think America's here for that. I mean, that's what makes the NCAA tournament so great. People, it's wired into us as humans to root for the little guy, the underdog. That's why we love March Madness.
Yeah, earlier in the same clip, he basically was like, James Madison doesn't matter. Nobody wants James Madison. It's like, huh.
Okay, if James Madison beats Oregon, they will be the biggest story in college football history.
Well, not only that, but like the amount of attention and money that like Tulane is getting from this, it's an incredible story. And look, I mean, maybe he's right from the like JMU Tulane standpoint, but in the aggregate, like you add up all of those schools that don't matter, quote unquote, and in the aggregate, you get a lot of programs, a lot of fan bases, a lot of emotions that do matter. Like college football, we've talked about this a lot. The Lakers matter to the NBA. The Lakers can't just play the Lakers every game. The Cowboys can't just play the Cowboys every game. You know, like brands matter and certainly drive huge consumption. I mean, 59 million people or whatever watched Cowboys and Chiefs. That's a huge number. It's a ridiculous number. But like, they can't play every game. You need the Jacksonville Jaguars. You need the Utah Jazz. You need the San Antonio Spurs. You need, in the aggregate, you need the programs that maybe individually those fan bases, quote unquote, don't matter to you, but in the aggregate, they absolutely do. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. What's the best postseason out of all of sports?
The NCAA tournament. The NCAA tournament is the best postseason.
And it's funny is I agree. I think I like the NFL playoffs, and I really think I like the 12-team playoff too in college football.
Yeah.
Like these matchups we're getting this weekend, Texas A&M Miami, it's a great matchup. Oklahoma Alabama. I mean, Oklahoma is 2-0 since joining the SEC against Bama. Now they get them at home. Texas A&M and Miami, the 2 teams to beat Notre Dame, are playing now. These are some fantastic matchups. And then all of the implications of a potential semifinal with Indiana and Texas Tech. And I think the 12-team playoffs, dynamite.
Yeah, I do too. And, you know, for me, it's the NCAA tournament because of my rooting interest in basketball at a young age and all the upsets. And, man, I became obsessed with these Cinderella-type teams that I referenced earlier. And I think eventually we will get there with the college football playoff, which is why I'm actually not opposed to expanding the playoff to even 24 teams, which we poked fun at the Big Ten and the crazy uncle because that's a huge leap. But I think we're already entering this mindset in college football that when it comes to a successful season, we're at the point where if you're in a power conference, it's either college football playoff or meh, like what did you do that year? And that's the same mindset we've always had with the NCAA tournament. The goal for each and every team in a power conference is to make the NCAA tournament. Teams that haven't had success, teams like Kansas and North Carolina and the Kentuckys of the world that are in the tournament every year, sure, they have much higher expectations, but like that's the benchmark. And I think we're already, with the expansion of the college football playoff from 4 to 12, we've entered into that world where you either make the college football playoff or nobody really cares what you did the rest of the season or in the postseason. That is the benchmark. So for that reason alone is why I'm probably more open to the idea of playoff expansion and get this thing as big as we can.
That's James Wesley on social at James Wesley. I'm Ari Tepkin on social at Ari Sports. This is Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. Okay, on the way next, The transfer portal isn't open, and yet the transfer portal and who's in it is the biggest story, and how a Big 12 quarterback might be staying in the Big 12. That's next. This is Big 12 Today on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios. It's Big 12 Radio. Big 12 today. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. So great to have you with us today and every day here in your home for the Big 12. Tune in and Big 12 Studios.
That was my favorite music bump of all time. Nice work, Taman.
It's because you're a thug?
Yeah.
Clearly.
Baby. More baby than thug.
You've heard that song, yes?
Have I heard that song? Started watching the Puff Daddy documentary last night on Netflix.
Oh.
You going to tackle that?
No.
It's really, really well done.
Yeah.
50 Cent. So apparently, Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, he was planning to make a documentary about getting out of this jam that he was in. And so he was having a videographer follow him the weeks leading up to when he was arrested. So they had all this footage behind the scenes. And once he got arrested, 50 Cent stepped in, got in touch with the videographer, and got all the footage.
Wow.
So there's a lot there, a lot to unpack.
Yeah, my 10-year-old came home from school and asked me about Puff Daddy or P. Diddy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How did you handle that?
Oh, I just walked away.
You just...
Sorry, what? Huh? Who's that? Is that a bird?
I didn't hear you. You want a snack? We've got fruit snacks.
Puff the Magic Dragon, huh?
Let me grab you a Capri Sun. You take a seat. Here's some cartoons.
Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, presented by Modelo on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios. Okay, so the transfer portal doesn't open until January 1st or around there. But that doesn't stop players from entering some semblance of the portal. Maybe like an intermediate period, a holding area, I guess, if you will, before they can enter the portal officially.
Yeah, pretty much anybody who's worth anything and sees what kind of bag they can get wants to make it very clear that they are in the portal.
They intend
They
to enter.
intend to enter.
I have every intention of not being here anymore.
Every really good football player that's not playing in the college football playoff that's going to be in the portal is announcing that they'll be in the portal.
Yes, which includes 2 Big 12 quarterbacks, Brendan Sorsby and Sam Levitt. Well, 3, Zane Flores, but yeah. Also in the portal would be Dylan Raiola, the extremely highly recruited Nebraska quarterback who suffered a ACL injury this year, I believe, and DJ Lagway, who's got connections to Baylor. Raiola also apparently has Arizona on his short list, Arizona State, on his short list. But Brendan Sorsby is certainly the name that most people are tracking because last night, Sorsby's girlfriend, who is a Cincinnati volleyball player, Gretchen Sickman, committed to Texas Tech in the transfer portal. So maybe that's a reason. Maybe that's not a reason for Brendan Sorsby to consider Texas Tech. You know, we had our buddy Chris Level from the Texas Tech Red Raider Radio Network on with us in the lead up to the Big 12 championship game, and he mentioned that, you know, that Texas Tech would be active in the portal for a quarterback. Maybe it was a sitting Big 12 quarterback. You know, we wondered who that might be. And, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that Brendan Sorsby's going to end up at Texas Tech.
And he will be paid very well if he ends up a Red Raider. And I think he's a tremendous fit for that offense because there's a lot of Will Hammond in his game and that he's a bigger, stronger quarterback who's very dual threat. And I'd love to see what Texas Tech, what that offense would look like with him at the helm, because I think he's maybe a better runner than he is pure passer. The other thing, you note the girlfriend piece of it. That seems to be a large indicator of where guys end up. Like that is the people are no longer tracking where's your coach going. It's where's your girlfriend going? Where are you from? He's also from, you know, the Dallas area, so he'd be back in his home state. There's a lot of things that I think work with that.
He looks good in red and black. It's obvious. Here's what his former current coach, Scott Satterfield, said about Brendan Sorsby entering the portal.
Yeah, I mean, it's been ongoing talks with him, you know, and over the last couple weeks since our season's over, you know, just talking over with his family and trying to decide on what is best for his future, obviously, as all the guys who are throughout the country are doing that now. You know, and he just, in his mind, you know, he still doesn't know what he wanted to do yet, whether he pursue the NFL, which he's gotten a lot of great feedback. Still waiting for the the feedback straight on paper that they send you from the NFL. Still waiting for that. But he's got a lot of good feedback through his agent on that. And then also, as we all know, he's had a really good year, and he's gotten reached out to by a lot of schools. And that's the nature of the college football world that we're living in right now. And, appreciate everything he's done for us in this program. Had an outstanding year. I think 1 touchdown shy of the school record for touchdowns responsible for. Obviously played at a high level this year. Otherwise, he would not be sought after like he is through the NFL and other colleges. So, and I think this is the case for all college football players nowadays. It's changed so much just in the last 3 years. And people can say 5 years, 10 years, but in the last 2 years, it's even changed a lot. I think, us coaches and us programs, we have to be grateful for the time that we do have with any players that are on our team, and which we are. And then, at the end of the season, I feel like where we are right now, the adults in the room have created all these rules. These kids are looking at their situation individually and trying to figure out what's the best for me. And that's the world that we're living in right now. And so we have to do, as coaches, do the best we can to maneuver this and go through it. So, but again, I appreciate everything that Brendan has done for us in this program over the last 2 years.
Man, Scott Satterfield missed a huge opportunity to basically go all in on tampering because, he just talked for 2.5 minutes there. And in the middle of it, he said, oh, yeah, it's just the way things are nowadays in terms of, there's been outreach from other schools already, which leads me to believe that Scott Satterfield, like many other coaches, are involved in tampering to a degree. Because why not just lead with that? Yeah, he's, the transfer portal's not even open, and we already know that he's had negotiations and ongoing discussions with other schools. That's tampering. Why not call it out?
Yeah.
The more you call it out, the more you can help to try to fix the issue. Or for Scott Satterfield, maybe you just throw your hands in the air and say, no, nothing's going to change this. This is just kind of how it is.
And I think that's the response that he had. That was a guy that didn't sound down on his luck, didn't sound defeated, sounded like a guy who's had no other choice but to accept it as is. Like, they clearly knew that Brendan Sorsby was not going to be back at Cincinnati next season. And sure, he was getting some feedback from the NFL. That's his lifelong dream, but he's not quite ready. And he can make more money this next upcoming season in college than he would with where he would be drafted in the later rounds of the NFL draft. So it makes sense. But Scott Satterfield, he took the approach of tampering is what it is, and how do we stop it? How do we enforce it? How do we keep agents or boosters or assistant coaches that are at the bottom of the ladder from contacting players mid-season, especially when these student athletes are so accessible via social media, via all these other different platforms where if you want to really get in touch with the player and you have a name and money, there's no way to stop it.
Yeah, there isn't. You have intermediates and go-betweens, and hey, this coach used to coach him or was connected to him, and he's just reaching out to say hello. He's just trying to maintain contact. With Fernando Mendoza winning the Heisman this year, James, it's important to note that 7 of the last 10 Heisman Trophy winners were transfers. So yesterday we talked about Mendoza winning the Heisman and who we could see from the Big 12 potentially winning the Heisman in 2026. I wondered if this was a name on a roster that isn't currently on a roster, and Sorsby fits into that category. Again, I think it seems pretty cut and dry that Sorsby is going to end up at Texas Tech and be a great spot for him to land, a great spot for Texas Tech, a great ad for Texas Tech at a position of huge need. There's also rumors linking him to Indiana. He transferred to Cincinnati from Indiana. Obviously, Indiana's in a much different situation they were when he transferred out. But certainly Indiana will be in the market for transfer portals. I got a pretty good sense that most of these guys that are in the portal right now or will be in the portal soon have a pretty good idea of where they're going.
Yeah. Because once that portal window opens, it's such a tight window now that, day one, I think guys are going to be signing contracts. And day one, teams are going to be getting their big 4-star transfers so that they can build around those guys. And, with what Indiana and Texas Tech have done this season and the Heisman note tells me that, this transfer dominance isn't just hype anymore. It's very much real because you've got a transfer winning this year's Heisman, and not just winning the Heisman, but leading a team that is the number 1 seed in the college football playoff that was essentially built through the portal. I mean, Kurt Cignetti built his team through the portal, but it was 2 years ago. And Mendoza was brought in this year, but I mean, most of these core guys were brought in 2 years ago, and they had a very strategic approach where they went and they recruited transfers that were younger guys that were maybe 2- and 3-star transfers instead of 4- and 5. And Texas Tech went out, brought in this massive class that has just clicked right away this year. So although very different approaches, two teams in the top 4 that were built through the portal. And I think I saw that there's only one quarterback, 5-star quarterback, elite, like top 5 quarterback out of high school from, I think it's the 22, 23, and 24 recruiting classes that will be at his original school next year, and it's Arch Manning at Texas. Everybody else has transferred elsewhere, and Avery Johnson's one of the last ones from that, 21 or 22 class at Kansas State. Everybody else has been in the portal. So, I mean, everybody's doing it.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I mean, DJ Lagway was one of those guys. He's in the portal. His dad played at Baylor, so Baylor's on his list, which also includes LSU and Miami. Dylan Raiola, would he follow in Patrick Mahomes' footsteps?
I think he probably wants to.
And go to Texas Tech. He's also got Arizona State on his short list. It's hard for me to believe that if Arizona State lost Sam Leavitt because of money, that they could coax Dylan Raiola to their school for money. But if I'm Raiola and I'm looking to get my best shot and crack at the NFL, Kenny Dillingham, you can do a lot worse than Kenny Dillingham in his development at the quarterback position. So I could see weighing both of those pieces for Raiola. And then, Zane Flores did not have a great year. I'd be surprised if he stays at the D1 level. We'll see. Maybe he goes to a group of 5 program and tries to develop there. He was I think high 3-star, maybe 4-star.
High 3.
Yeah.
Because he went to a really small high school in Nebraska, but I mean, he shattered Nebraska high school records. I love Dylan Raiola to Arizona State, and I would think that he would be in their price range for that position because Nebraska paid him $4 million to go 13-9, 6-9 in the Big Ten, get a pinstripe bowl appearance, and a touchdown to interception ratio that's not even 2-1. I think he could do a lot more at Arizona State. I think that's more Raiola's leaving Nebraska because he doesn't want to be part of that offense anymore that has been modest at best. He wants to play in an NFL open, free-flowing offense like Arizona State. Arizona State's going to get a big name at quarterback. And if DJ Lagway ends up at Baylor, then you have something at Baylor. Then I start to believe that Aranda maybe can turn this around if I'm a Baylor fan. Because you bring in the K-State defensive coordinator, Joe Klanderman, who at his introductory press conference said there is talent here all over the field on defense. It just needs to be reined in and coached the right way. And if
the defensive genius couldn't do it?
He's too smart. That's my belief. Dave Aranda's too smart for your average 20 to 22-year-old trying to play defense. Joe Klanderman's defenses are bend but don't break. They're simplistic. They blitz, though, from a lot of very creative angles. And I think that's a tremendous hire for Baylor. You pair that with DJ Lagway, I mean, you've got some dudes now down in Waco.
Yeah, but offense wasn't the issue in Waco. I mean, you look at, we're going to rank the top offensive linemen, the first 3, and I mean, Baylor's got one there. Like, could have been in the top 3 quarterbacks, top 3 wide receivers. So
Bryson Washington at running back.
Offense wasn't the issue.
They've got to replace all those guys. Like, they've got to replace Cameron. They've got to replace Robertson. They've got to replace Michael Trigg. Like, there are a lot of pieces on offense that are going to look very different next season, and I think they're going to have to do it through the portal.
Yeah. The other one that I think is interesting is did Raiola tear his ACL? I mean, he had an injury. I can't remember what the injury is now. So I wonder, too, what that will play in terms of the factor. Because remember, Texas Tech is only looking for a quarterback because Will Hammond tore his ACL and won't be back in time for the season. All right, this is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Let's talk a little bit of the hardwood. Our buddy Mike O'Donnell, college basketball analyst for CBS Sports, joins us next. Along with James Amari, this is Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. Big 12 Radio. This is Big 12 Today. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. Always fun to talk Big 12 hoops with our buddy Mike O'Donnell from CBS Sports. Mike, how are you?
I'm great, guys. I'm sorry I can't see you right now because I'm taking it from a car. But instead of preparing for my meeting, I would rather talk to you guys in the car. You know what I mean?
Well, we always are a great distraction from any future meetings, so we appreciate you taking time to jump on with us. All right, so, I mean, let's start at the beginning here. Give us kind of your thoughts the last few weeks of Big 12 hoops. I mean, Arizona continues to play their style of bully ball. It's fun to watch, and they're number one team in the country with 5 wins over ranked opponents. I mean, I think where the Big 12 is right now, Mike, like there's going to be at least 2 Final Four teams because it's really good at the top.
It's the top 5 teams in the country are the best top 5 in the country. I'm sorry, the top 5 teams in the Big 12 are the best top 5 teams in the country. So you mentioned Arizona. They still have the best resume in college basketball. They do. And you look at it, and I'm saying all of college basketball. I mean, there's a reason why they're the number 1 team in the country. I mean, with the wins, especially, over Florida and UConn. I mean, those are just going to be monster wins come March. Iowa State does have the best win in not just the Big 12, but in the country. What Iowa State did against Purdue, not only did everybody in the country not expect, but when you look at that win and how they did it and by how much, there was a time, if you were watching that game and then you were following along social media, which you should never do, but I tend to do too much. There was like this gap of almost kind of silence of, is Iowa State blowing out Purdue right now? It's like, so how do you respond to this? How do you break this down analytically or from an X and O standpoint? I mean, it was total and complete domination. They have absolutely figured it out. And what's amazing about Iowa State is, this is TJ Otzelberger to a T. This is, if you've ever talked to Taman Lipsey, which you two guys have, nobody's even talking about him. Nobody's like nationally, nobody's even talking about him. And Iowa State is good enough to win a national championship, 100%. So, not to spend too much time on those two teams, but yes, Arizona and Iowa State are look amazing. Houston is still going to be, a Final Four threat of a team. They Kingston Flemings looks like, I mean, I don't know, Ari, maybe a top 6, top 8 pick in the country right now. BYU is a really interesting team in that, when I watch them play, when you look at some of their games this season, BYU is really, really, really good at taking someone's haymaker and then slowly jabbing the body for the rest of the game until they come back and figure it out. They're really good at not panicking. Excellent at not panicking. And it takes teams feel like they figured out the Bonsa out, and then they just slowly kind of chip away. And one of the best things about BYU is you go and watch them. They've got a great full court press. It's really good. It's probably the best full court press in the Big 12. And not that a bunch of teams in the Big 12 are pressing, but they do really that diamond in one full court press where they put AJ DeBonce at the top. It's really kind of becomes exhausting by the end of the game. That's how they chip people away. Kansas, right, looked pretty good with Darren Peterson back out there. Looked pretty good. Texas Tech, there are some concerns with Texas Tech. And I think there's similar concerns to what Kansas had last season, in that they're so reliant upon 2 players, and they're waiting on production from their 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th player. It really hasn't quite happened yet. But that's still, and the most surprising team in the Big 12, Ari, Arizona State looks really good. And they look so much better than what they were last season. Oklahoma State, I know they lost to Oklahoma, but Oklahoma State is going to continue to get better. Those two teams look vastly improved.
Mike, I was talking about Iowa State with somebody the other day and talking about how good they are, and they said, well, doesn't Iowa State do this every year? They have these big non-conference wins, and then they get into the months of January and February, and somebody's always hurt, and they kind of falter down the stretch. Why do you think this Iowa State team might be different this year?
Well, I'll say this with a caveat, is that they have to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Have to, right? That's Captain Obvious. But that's really been one of the biggest Achilles heels for Iowa State is, hey, can Taman Lipsey stay healthy? Everybody else stay healthy. There are a couple reasons. Number one, they are deeper than last season. They are. Not by a whole lot. It's not as if Otzelberger's playing, 11 guys deep. But they are 1 to 2 roster pieces deeper than they were last season, number one. Number two, Momcilovic is better. He's 20% better than what he was last season. And that is a complete and total game changer for Iowa State's offense. Completely takes so much pressure off of Lipsey and Jefferson. And Torrey adds a totally different element defensively for them, where he can almost just be this free safety guy who brings a ton of energy. I don't know, we kind of talked about it briefly, but it was really interesting. We were chatting about teams in Big 12 Media Day, and Otz he goes, my freshman's going to play. And not just play, but he's going to get better. He's going to give us minutes, and nobody's talking about him. Well, he was absolutely right, because he brings a totally different element to this Iowa State team. So that's a big deal. So they're a much better three-point shooting team. They're deeper, and Momcilovic is 20% better than what he was last season. And you put those pieces together, if you take that and put it into last season, what do you get? If everybody stays healthy, you probably get a 1 seed Iowa State, truly. And that's the difference, I think.
Talk with Mike O'Donnell here. Mike, my take on Darren Peterson is I understand the talent and how much of a difference he can make, but overall, this, hanging over the heads of this roster the entire season, like I'm just shut him down. Just move on. Maybe I'm overreacting, but for me, it's the talent doesn't outweigh the psychological piece for that locker room of knowing versus not knowing seemingly every week.
Oh, man, I think I'm on the other side of the fence for that. I think if you've got one of the more impressive things is if you talk to the Kansas players before the season about all the hype with Darren Peterson, they all kind of said the same thing to a T. It was really interesting. It's like, it's awesome to play with him. We love playing with him. Hey, go back and read the interviews or watch the interviews.
Right.
And they all say the same thing. Ari, I can understand someone of your stature saying that. And by stature, I mean limited stature. But if you've got an opportunity, if you're a competitor in any sense of the imagination at all, when you're recruited to play at Kansas, you're not recruited to go to the NCAA tournaments. You're recruited to win a national championship. That's the sales pitch to players in the portal. That's the sales pitch to freshmen. That's the sales pitch to Darren Peterson, of where it's not just, you're going to play at the highest stage and you're going to be the top 3 pick in the draft. You get to if Darren Peterson is playing in the national championship game, what that does for his draft stock, even more importantly, what that does for his individual brand, it explodes it. It absolutely explodes it to otherworldly potential. I can guarantee you last season, if Cooper Flagg got banged up and there were people like, shut it down, Cooper Flagg would have said, no, I want to play. I want to play with my guys. I want to try to win this thing and figure it out and win. If you watch Darren Peterson play, the difference where I think you need to go back, and Ari, I would encourage you, go back and watch those games, the most recent games in which he played. If there was any seconds on the floor where he wasn't competing as if he was trying to win each possession, I didn't see him taking any plays off. I didn't see him taking any shots off. I didn't see him not competing. I just don't. I think there are guys that are wired like you're talking about, Ari. I think there are. There are. I don't think Darren Peterson is wired like that. The way that he plays, like that, the dude loves to hoop. Let him play. Get off his back, Ari. Let him play. And this Kansas team, I think it's going to be one of the better teams. It's going to be the best team that Bill Self has had in the last 3 or 4 years, right? If he continues to stay healthy and they continue to learn. I mean, what happens if Darren Peterson is fully healthy for the rest of the season? He's averaging 18, 19 a game, and he's making crazy tough shots. And then Melvin Council starts to figure it out, because it looks like he's starting to figure it out. Yeah. What does that look like? What does that do for Badunga's game? What does that do for Trey White? They're going to be good as he continues to stay healthy. And I think it's good for college basketball if he keeps playing.
Mike, when we look at all the teams that are kind of log jammed between like 34 and 64, according to Ken Palm, you've got Baylor and UCF, and Oklahoma State, and Colorado and TCU and Arizona State, all in that bunch. Who stands out to you? You mentioned some of the teams off the top that you like, but like UCF, Oklahoma State, and Colorado are a combined 26-3 in the non-conference. It's insane what some of these teams that are in the middle or bottom tier have done so far.
Well, I agree with you, and it's going to be very interesting. We're getting way ahead of our skis here, right? I'm sorry. Like I'm saying the phrase Selection Sunday. We shouldn't talk about Selection Sunday now. But you start looking at like wins of some of these teams, and you're like, man, how many teams is the Big 12 going to get in the tournament? I mean, there's a chance there's a very good chance that the Big 12 has the most teams in college basketball in the NCAA tournament this season. Oklahoma State, I think, really needed to win that Oklahoma game, right? I mean, that's obvious. But I think that team's going to continue to get better. I think that loss really showed how important Parsifala is to Oklahoma State. But they're going to be in the mix, right, for an at-large bid. I think Arizona State will be in the mix for an at-large bid. TCU has a monster win, a monster non-conference win that went over Florida. And I think TCU has – they probably have the most underappreciated backcourt in the Big 12. I'm not saying it's the best, but I think if you told me that TCU has a top 5 backcourt in the Big 12, I would be like, I could get that. I could get that between Brock Harden and Jaden Pierre. I thought Kansas State was going to be I thought they were going to have a couple more wins than they did. Some of those losses, I thought that it was a little surprising. UCF has figured it out, man. You go watch them play. Their only loss is to Vanderbilt. And right now, Vanderbilt's an Elite Eight team. Vanderbilt's one of the best teams in the country. And they are missing that kind of marquee win. That win over. They have that win over Pittsburgh. They beat some really good mid-major teams. But I'll have them on a call versus Florida Gulf Coast on Saturday. But they have – UCF is one of the tallest rosters in the country, number one. They have a point guard who's top 5 in the country in assists per game in Themis Falks. And nobody's talking about him. He's one of the best passers in the country. And Riley Kugel is having the best offensive season of his entire career. And those 3 things together, they have great rim protection. They're really deep. They play fast. They got a high up tempo. The middle of the Big 12 is nuts. It's totally chaotic. And in the best way possible. And I think that's where you're going to see, man, is the Big 12 going to get 7 teams in the tournament, 8 teams in the tournament? I mean, like it's pretty wild. It really is.
Yeah, well said. Always great and fun to visit with our buddy Mike O'Donnell from CBS Sports. He does a great job in calling games and, of course, joining us to talk Big 12 hoops. Mike, you're the best. Thank you, bud.
By the way, thank you. I'm sorry. We didn't even talk about Baylor. It's not like Baylor's going to figure it out to do. Shut me off. I'm sorry. You're saying I'm just so fired up after Ari suggested to shut down Darren Peterson.
He's got a quad injury now, O'Donnell. What do you want from me? It's a hamstring. It's a quad. He's got cramping. He's sick. I can't keep up with all these injuries, man. He's not going to be healthy the rest of the year. This is going to be the entire season is going to be like this. In a hypothetical world, I'd love to say that he'd be healthy the rest of the year, but I can only go with what I've seen, and what I've seen says he's not.
Don't be soft, Ari. He's going to play. He's going to figure it out.
Take care, brother. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Appreciate it.
You're the best. Mike O'Dowd joining us, trying to talk some sense into me. With James Westling, I'm Ari Tepkin. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. More on this discussion. Hoops on the way next. Plus, is NIL having a different impact in college basketball than it is in college football? That's next. This is Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. Radio, along with James Westling on social at James Westling. I am Ari Temkin on social at Ari Sports. Big 12 today, presented by Modelo. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. So great to have you with us today and every day. And, of course, reminder, if you have not yet already, to download the TuneIn app. Search Big 12 and make sure to favorite the channel. And as well, you can find out where to watch us and stream us at Big12Studios.com, Big12Studios.com, including Tubi, Roku, Amazon Prime Video, YouTube, and plenty of other platforms in which you can find us. Some interesting stuff from Mike O'Donnell, our friend who covers college basketball for CBS Sports. Taking some snipes at me for my comments on Darren Peterson in Kansas. It's okay. He's not entirely wrong, as I'm not entirely wrong.
Yeah, I think both things can be true, and I think both angles can be true. And, I mean, he's an incredibly talented player. I understand why you would want him out there. But I also see the side of, if he's going to be in and out of the lineup, just go with what you know you're going to have. Because basketball is a sport where there's not a lot of players on the floor, okay? So the chemistry, the connectivity, the way you share the basketball, the defensive end of the floor, and the communication, like if he's not playing in games, he's not practicing. And so sure, he can be on the sidelines in practice and absorb all that information, but once you get out on the floor, to be able to plug right back in at 100% mentally as well as physically, I think is super important for Kansas to have him out there before we get into the month of February and March, where this can't be a guy that's just in and out. He's got to be either all in or all out. And I'm not saying it's his fault. I do believe that he is dealing with a really nagging, annoying injury. Hamstrings are not fun. And especially in the sport of basketball, those can eat you alive. But I see your point where, like, let's figure this out.
Yeah, so here's what Bill Self said following Kansas's win in overtime over NC State.
Well, they dared him to shoot. You know, obviously they dared him to shoot, and they went under everything. And the best thing that he did was he shot it. You know, if he goes 3 for 8 from 3, uncontested, well, technically that means 5 shots or a long shot, long rebounds, a better percentage, even though we haven't done it like we're capable of offensive rebounding, long 3 misses, and there is probably short 2 misses. Then you have a situation, 3 for 8 is what, 37%, and 37% effective field goal percentage is what, 55%, which is, you know, something like that would rank out 54%, something like that would rank out very high. So even 3 for 8 is not bad or end of the world. So I thought the best thing that he did was take them, and then after he made a couple, he started feeling it. But those shots that he made in the second half, those weren't hesitant shots. Those were shots out of necessity that he shot without thinking. And it just goes to show you he can become a pretty good shooter if he plays without thinking about it. And he certainly was reactive the other day.
All right, so there's Bill Self on Melvin Council, but here's what Bill Self said about Darren Peterson.
I have no idea. I don't know. We did practice yesterday. I just saw him in the hallway, and he's going to lift right now with the guys, and so we'll practice later. But obviously he had some not hamstring, based on what I was told, but some quad cramping. There, which to me, you guys saw the game, was evident that he wasn't moving at the pace that he's got to move at, the way people are going to guard him and that stuff. So it was obviously bothering him.
All right, so Kansas has played 11 games. This is now a quad cramping issue. We've talked about hamstring. We've talked about sickness in 11 games. So, I mean, I'm not trying to invalidate what we're hearing there from Bill Self, but it seems to me like there's a pattern here. And whether he wants to play kind of doesn't matter to me, because he's not playing. And now we'll see what happens tonight. Kansas plays tonight against Towson. Do they need him to play against Towson for them to win? No.
I'll be shocked if he plays tonight.
Davidson next Monday before Big 12 play starts on Saturday, January 3rd. Will they shut him down before Big 12 play starts? Who knows? But I can only react to what I'm hearing, and what I'm hearing is just a laundry list of maladies that have befallen him over the course of 11 basketball games.
And he's played in the 4 games that he's been on the floor. 3 were against power conference opponents. They were 3 really big games for Kansas. He fought through an early season injury in the opener against Green Bay, played 22 minutes in that game. Then he played 28 against North Carolina. Then he played 23 against Missouri, and he was on the floor for 31 minutes against NC State. I almost wonder if Bill Self maybe misspoke when he said quad, or if it is a whole different part of the leg. Like, that's not a hamstring. That's a different muscle. That is a different major muscle in the lower body. So if that's now on top of the hamstring, then we're talking about a whole different plethora of possibilities in terms of how much this could linger. And for Kansas, when you've got a guy like Melvin Council who's going off, Melvin Council had a big game because he's been on the floor. And he's learning the system. He's getting more confident. And there's no reason to believe that can't happen with other guys. I think we're seeing that in real time. Kansas, even without Peterson, is still a top 15, top 20 team in the country, maybe even better.
But, do we have to forget about this? Even O'Donnell's like, well, if he can come back and stay healthy, like, what have we seen that would lead us to believe that that's even possible?
I think it's just a hope.
Quad cramping is the latest. I've never heard of so much cramping for a 19-year-old. It's insane. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here.
Right.
Like, what else is everybody missing? He's an insane talent. I don't care if he wants to be on the floor. He's not. He's not as consistently enough as he needs to be. They needed him on the floor at the end of that game, and he wasn't there. They still won it. They needed him on the floor at the end of the Duke game. He wasn't there. They lost it.
And
the UConn game.
Kansas has elite team doctors, number one. It's a huge medical school. They've got top-notch doctors in that basketball family. He's getting treatment every day, just like every other player in America that's working through some type of injury. I think the fact, and you've stated this before, the fact that he is an elite prospect, expected to be a top 3 NBA draft pick, he's being handled with kid gloves compared to if this was a guy that wasn't going to be a future pro, if this was a glue guy that, was in his 4th or 5th year at the school, he'd be on the floor. Like, he'd be risking it all. So there's a risk-reward with Peterson that is because he is an elite talent. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it is what it is.
Is it right or wrong?
I can see why. Bill Self sounds to me frustrated that, number one, he has to keep answering these questions. Number two, that he doesn't know immediately post-game what's going on. Sure, he visibly wasn't himself out on the floor. That's why we had to pull him out. But there are other guys that work through things like this, and they go back in the game. It's just so hard to know how much pain and discomfort he's dealing with, number one. And number two, how on the edge of this being a very serious injury where he misses 6 months or whatever it is to work his way back and get ready for the NBA. That's the part that we don't know.
Do you think playing for Kansas is Darren Peterson's number one priority?
No, I don't.
No. Yeah.
And I think playing basketball is his number one priority. The kid loves the game. There's no doubt about that. You can see it in his eyes when you talk to him. He's a hooper. He doesn't care about any of that outside noise. But his ultimate end game is he wants to be an NBA superstar. That's what he's been building towards since middle school, So he's got all these people, all these national pundits, his family, his core group of people, like they're thinking long term. And us as fans of Big 12 basketball, Kansas alums are thinking short term right now, like he's a one and done. No doubt about that. Get him on the floor or get him out.
You paid him $3 million, right? I mean, they didn't pay him $3 million to be a figurehead. They didn't pay him $3 million to show up for a few games and sit on the sideline with the exercise gun on his, with the stretching gun, whatever they call that thing, a Theragun on his quad. I mean, it's the thing I think that gets me so worked up is the amount of people just completely justifying it. Where it's like, you didn't have to play. You could have sat out this year. Could have sat out. You didn't have to take $3 million. Play Kansas.
Could have went and played for overtime elite.
Yeah. Could have sat out. Trained the entire year. So it's like he wanted the attention that comes with playing for Kansas, and then everybody wants to justify, well, like, I mean, this is perfectly fine. Yeah, I get it, but like, you can't have it both ways.
What was Kyrie Irving's injury at Duke?
Toe.
It was a toe.
He wasn't paid $3 million, right?
As far as we know.
Pre-NIL.
Right.
Totally different circumstances, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he played in 11 games. And
by the way, look at how much of an impact it's been in his NBA career. A guy misses as many games as he plays.
Yeah. He played the first 8 games for Duke that year, and then he missed from December until March. And he came back in March, played 20 minutes in the first round of the NCAA tournament, played 21 in the second round. Then they gave him a full go in the Sweet 16. Duke lost that game. They lost that game by 16. Duke was not the same Duke because he came back, he played 31 minutes, the chemistry was all off, like his stats were really good. But in terms of his connectivity with his teammates,
right.
it wasn't there.
Right. Like, the talent isn't the only part that should be weighed here. It's the camaraderie, chemistry, continuity with the team. And I can't be the only one thinking like, man, at what point are we, championing a guy for not playing? Like, at what point, like, just play the games. It's sports. Just play. It's like all this guy is thinking about is hurting himself. All he's thinking about.
And how much of that is in his head?
Shut it down.
Like, how much of that is in his head when he's on the floor? I mean, thinking that every misstep could be a grade 2 strain. Like, I know he's not taking a high volume of shots for how much he's out there on the floor. He's very efficient when he's on the court. But I just think that there's a lot of layers when he's out there. The mental aspect of it of, am I switching or not defensively, offensively, the way guys cut and move without the basketball. It feels like when Darren Peterson has the ball in his hands, there's a lot of ISO plays, and it's just Peterson doing Peterson things.
I just can't believe I'm the only one that's thinking like, man, is it so old school to be thinking like play or don't? But we're caught in between here of like completely justifying this behavior because, well, he's got his future to think about. I get it, but you don't have to take $3 million to play at Kansas to be thinking about your future. He's not bought in. Cole Pete's bought in at Arizona. Cam Boozer is bought in at Duke.
A.J. DeBonce at BYU.
Bought in. This guy's got flu and cramping and hamstring and now a quad. And I mean, it's like a joke. It's like a joke. Played 11 games. The guy's had more things than most people have in a career. 11 games. And we're like, well, if he gets healthy, he hasn't even played 11 games.
He's barely played 4.
They played 11 games this season, and the whole story's been flu. He's got a bug. He's got cramping. He has almost as many things as the amount of games played at this point in time.
And like we don't, the thing that makes it also unique is this doesn't happen very often. Like a lot of times guys are either hurt or they're not, and it's very clear. It's a fracture, it's a sprained ankle. It can be a variety of different injuries where like they cannot play. So muscle tightness or muscle soreness, like those are things that I think everybody's working through all across the country. Like there are plenty of players that are sore and beat up that are out on the floor. So yeah, I see your point.
All right. One of the things I think is kind of interesting, and we hit on this a little bit earlier, and this is certainly related to this topic, is NIL having a different impact in college basketball than it is in college football? Last year, 7 of the Elite 8 teams were the top 8 teams. All 4 Final Four teams were 1 seeds. in college football, we've seen Indiana. I mean, Indiana football, the losingest program in the history of college football, is the 1 seed, having won the Big Ten tournament with a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Texas Tech, what they're doing. We've seen an incredible amount of talent being dispersed across the country in a way that we haven't really ever seen before. So it feels like, and maybe it's just a short sample that we're reacting to here, James, but the impact that NIL is having is making the rich richer in basketball and is helping in football to really create equal opportunity for talent across the board in football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or at least more so than ever before.
And we have, to your point, we do have, it is a small sample size so far because we're only a couple of years into NIL. But from what we've seen, the start of college basketball and with college football feels like new money can win fast, and college basketball feels like you've got mid-majors that build it, and then the rich blue blood type programs swoop in and buy it up. And the spending and the spreading of talent in football with a Texas Tech and in Indiana and programs that aren't the traditional powers that be in football, with their rise and the recruiting rankings as well, the talent is spreading in college football, whereas it feels like in college basketball, there's just all these top programs and power conferences that are vacuuming up all that elite mid-major talent. Like you look at a lot of these rosters, Florida last year wins a national championship with a bunch of transfers from mid-major programs. Melvin Council Jr. is a transfer, just hung 36 on NC State at KU. He's a mid-major transfer. P.J. Haggerty at Kansas State, the nation's leading scorer, mid-major transfer. Oklahoma State's built their entire roster with mid-major transfers. And again, it's a small sample size, but March Madness last couple of years has been chalkier. There haven't been as many Cinderella-type runs. So in basketball, I think also with a smaller roster, you know, the one or two stars, that matters more in basketball than it does in football. So, yeah, I mean, to your point, college basketball is different when it comes to the transfer portal from what we've seen the last 2+ seasons.
I also think, you know, in football, your entire roster matters. Like, you've got to have depth and be good on both sides of the ball. It just takes more players. Mm-hmm. And so whereas when Georgia and Ohio State and Texas and they were all hoarding the best players, in basketball, one player can make that much of a difference. Two players can make that much of a difference. So the pendulum swinging one way or the other when all these mid-major guys are stepping up in competition and have that experience, like that makes such a larger difference than, you know, than it does at that level. Like one or two guys not making that much of a difference in football. One or two guys makes a huge difference in basketball. But 10 to 12 guys at football makes a huge difference because all those 10 to 12 guys are now going to 3 different schools or 4 different schools as opposed to before when they used to go to one school.
Right. It's being spread. The wealth is being spread. And 35% of all Division I basketball players as of this past April, there were over 2,000 portal entries. So 35% of all D1 players at the start of the season were guys that had been in the portal.
Wow.
35% of your top 8 guys, I mean, that's almost everybody in the country turning over half of their roster. And a lot of teams in college basketball turn over their entire roster. And in basketball, how many of those guys truly have to hit? 2, 3, 4? You get a starting 5. You only play 6 or 7 in the NCAA tournament or the Big 12 tournament. So I think the margin for error is much smaller in basketball than it is for football. And it's a numbers game, and it takes longer in football. To your point, there are a lot more guys in the portal in football that weren't as productive in their sport as there are in basketball. Because basketball, number one, you've got way more programs, so the talent pool is just bigger, and it's easier to find those guys that are averaging 14, 15, 16 a game or whatever it is, or a force on the defensive end from lesser programs that can make an impact right away.
Well, and I think the other thing, and that's a great point you bring up, just to kind of extend it, like football, it's really hard to be good everywhere. Because, you know, when you look at the NFL, right? Like it's like a team season ends, and it's like, well, here are our flaws. Let's fix those flaws. And then what happens is like you stick fingers in each hole of the dike where it's water sprouting out, and like other problems arise, right? Maybe a position group you thought was solidified isn't as solidified as it once looked. Basketball, it's a lot simpler than that. We weren't good here. Well, let's bring in shooting. Oh, okay, fixed it. Whereas with football, it's like it's extremely difficult to be really good at all these things because as soon as you fix something, it's so precarious. It's like suddenly the other things you were good at before, you weren't as good as you thought you were going to be. Whereas in basketball, it's way more cut and dried. Hey, we need another shooter. Yeah. We need a guy that can handle the ball. Perfect. We need a rim protector. Perfect. And, as long as and especially from like the high end level, we're looking at the teams with the most talent overall. Like, oh, we added a ball handler. Now we're going to be really good. We added a shot blocker. Now we're going to be really good. That's James Westling. I'm Ari Tepkin. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo.
Sorry, I just pulled up the AP Top 25 for college basketball. How many mid-majors do you think are ranked this week?
2.
Schools outside the 4 power conferences, and then the 5th would be the Big East.
2?
None. Not a single school. That's the other thing. We're seeing this already in the regular season. There aren't these traditional mid-majors that are pulling these massive upsets. Sure, you have a New Orleans beating a TCU
How about Gonzaga?
Every once in a while. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. I missed Gonzaga, so there's one. One.
But they're kind of they're almost like
they're in their own basket.
Yeah.
They're number 7. Outside of that, there's nobody else. And last year's NCAA tournament, the top 4 seeds in the first round, do you remember what the top 4 seeds did in the first round last year of the NCAA tournament?
Well, they went undefeated.
They went undefeated. They went 16-0. There wasn't a single upset in those 4 versus 13, 5 versus 12, which used to be the money spot. It was jackpot city for that 12 seed. It's not happening the last couple of years. And a lot of times those 12 seeds would be teams that would be ranked in the top 25, teams that would have records of 30-4, the McNeese States of the world. I think they were the last one to do it. And that was a Will Wade team that had a lot of bounce backs from major blue blood programs. It's just not happening anymore in college basketball because all those mid-major talent guys are being sucked up into these power conferences.
That's James Westling. I am Ari Tepkin. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. We are presented by Modelo. On the way next, our buddy Bill Fennelly, the Iowa State women's basketball coach. His team's off to a 12-0 start with one of the best players in college basketball. We'll talk with Bill Fennelly next. It's Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo. Heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. Big 12 Radio, this is Big 12 Today. We are presented by Modelo. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. Along with James Westling, I am Ari Temkin. And we are so pleased to be joined right now by Bill Fennelly, the head women's basketball coach at Iowa State, as the Iowa State women's basketball team is off to a 12-0 start. And Audie Crooks averaging a modest 27.8 points per game on 72% shooting. My goodness, we knew Audie had the chance to be really good, but she's on another level right now.
Yeah, she really is. She's played really, really well. Just seems like she got better and better, and put up some monster numbers and done it in really tough situations. But really proud of her. I think the thing with us is, our balance has been good. We're getting her the ball at the right times. She's learning to handle every kind of defense there is, and hopefully that'll continue.
Bill, talk a little bit about your backcourt. Jada Williams has 87 assists and is scoring in double figures. I mean, how have they adjusted to the sensational start that Crooks has had in terms of getting her the ball, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, I mean, we've had Addie Brown in the past, and Addie's one of the more versatile players in the country, in my opinion. And the way we play our offense, she's kind of the point forward kind of player that's going to get the ball and score it. But Jada might be as big a portal impact on a program as there is in the country, to be honest with you. What she's done for our team has been phenomenal. She's a downhill guard. She's aggressive with the ball. She's not afraid to try and make plays every single game. I think I didn't realize at the time she never had a double-double in her life, and she's already had 4 early in our season. And I think, again, that's because she's aggressive. She's throwing it to Audie. When you have an assist, you got to throw the ball to someone who's going to catch it and make it. And Audie's doing that a lot. Addie's doing that a lot. But Jada's been tremendous and changed our team in a lot of ways.
How has Audie gotten better?
I think the big thing, Ari, is, the one thing that people don't realize about Audie is she's not as tall as people think. When they see her, oh, we thought you were 6'6". I mean, she's about 6'2" and a half. But so she's had to have a counter move. We worked really hard on, like a little fadeaway step back. We've worked really hard with her on how to handle double teams. Usually post players are not the best passers. So we've worked really hard on, you're going to get the ball, you're going to give it up, but then you're going to get it back. We've worked really hard on that. Her free throw shooting is getting better. That's got to get better. And then she's got to, move to the next level defensively. She's starting to do that. But Ari, I think the bigger thing for her, if you asked her, is she wants to be a leader. Everyone talks about being a leader when it's convenient for them. But
Yeah.
I think she saw, I want to lead when it's going good for me and, all that stuff. But I was really proud of her. She did not play in her last game. She got dinged up a little bit, and we were very, taking great precaution to, be smart. And she didn't play against you and I, but she was engaged. She did the things that leaders can do. And we talk every day about what are you doing to impact success of the group, and you can always find something. And I'm really proud of the way she's gone about her business.
Bill, I don't know about you, but, man, my head is spinning. We've got Audie, we got Addie, we got Ari in the house.
Ari would never make it in practice because I got Audie Brown and Addie Crooks and Audie, Addie, Ari. Oh God, no! Now I've kind of gone to AB because I can't say Audie, Addie because they're in the game all the time, and so now I've kind of gone to AB to try to clarify that. But no, that would be a disaster.
Well, you have it, Ari, right? Ariana Jackson.
Ariana Jackson, yeah. So she's AJ.
Allie, Alyssa.
There we go.
You can't recruit any more 8 names as long as Addie and Audie are there.
Yeah. They're all good. They called AJ and Audie and Addie came in together, so they call themselves AAA.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
We're trying to get them an NIL deal with AAA. So
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, it's been fun.
We can roll with that. All right, let's talk about AB, Addie Brown. Like, you look at her numbers and her length, and you just don't see stats like this. Like 15 a night, 67 assists, shooting 47% from 3, makes her free throws, averages almost 10 rebounds. Like, she is a stat stuffer. So explain like I'm five, her game.
Yeah, she is exactly that. She impacts the game every single play for us. She scores it, she passes it, she rebounds it, she guards it. She's as cerebral a kid as we've ever had. She understands the game. She's always texting me, "Hey, this play will work. I don't like this play." She's like, even though she's not the point guard, she thinks like a point guard. She acts like a point guard. Her sister Kennedy was a really good player at Duke. So she understands this level. She pays attention to the game. A lot of players don't really pay attention to anything unless it's good for them. She pays attention to the sport. She watches the game. She'll text me, "Hey, I just saw this play on TV. That'll work for us." And she just is always trying to get better. She works really hard at it. She's almost too hard on herself at times, and we've got to work through that a little bit. But she's as versatile a kid as there is in the country, in my opinion. She's going to be a pro. She's going to impact some franchise in my mind without question. And Rebecca Lobo did our game the other night, ESPN game, and I said to her before the game, I said, "Watch Addie and tell me what you think." And she goes, "Oh, she's a pro." And I think her and Audie both have a chance to play beyond their time here.
You've had some really good wins already this season, Marquette, Indiana. But, I mean, how satisfying was the win against Iowa? If people are watching at Big 12 Studios, they're seeing a lot of those highlights. But, I mean, 2 top 11 teams. Obviously, we know about the Cyhawk series. How satisfying was it to get a win against Iowa?
Oh, it's huge for us in so many ways. And, people outside of our state, the Iowa State-Iowa thing is huge. We don't have major league sports in our state. So this is, the biggest deal there is. And, we play one night, the guys played the next night. And then they have a Cyhawk series where we keep track of points. And this was a great year for Iowa State. We beat them in football, we beat them in volleyball, we beat them in wrestling, we beat them in cross country. And for our game, which was fun, we got to clinch the Cyhawk series with our win. So,
oh, nice.
Really, really good team. Iowa's a very good team. But those are the kind of wins that you want on your resume moving forward. It made us better. I told our team before the game, anything we do well against Iowa, I think we can do well in our league. And anything we don't do well, we better fix quick because the Big 12's coming. And obviously it's coming for us on Sunday. So very proud of our team.
Bill, did you see signs this offseason that this team could be this good? Like, you finished 8-3 in your last 11 games last year. It just, last year you finished strong. This year you are off to a strong start. I don't think that's a coincidence, right?
No, James, that's a great point. I knew we had the pieces. I think the challenge for us was, we have 8 juniors on our team. So we were a little bit older. I made the mistake last year. Our schedule was not the way it should have been built. We should have added maybe one more portal guy to give us some experience because we really struggled against the older, more experienced, more physical teams down the stretch. So I knew we'd be older, we'd be better. And then the challenge would be, 4 of our top 5 perimeter guys are new. They're all very talented. Kenzie Hare redshirted because of an injury. Jada's new. EP's new. So we and Reese Beatty's one of our freshmen. So I thought this summer if we could get those guys on board, we had a chance to be a pretty good team. Now, where that goes from here, I don't really know, but I do. I vote on the coaches' top 25 poll, and after UConn and Texas, you could pick anyone you want. I mean, through number 30, and so I don't know that we're the 10th best team in the country. I doubt it, but I don't know who is. And now it's about showing up in conference play and doing the things that we need to do. But I'm really proud of what our team has done up to this point.
How much do you watch Big 12 teams outside of Big 12 play? How much advanced scouting are you doing kind of this time of year? I mean, obviously this time of year you are because you're about to start Big 12 play, but in November and December, early December, are you deep into it in terms of watching Big 12 teams?
No, I don't. To be blunt about it,
yeah.
my mindset here, and I bore our local media guys to death. because I am a next 40-minute guy.
Yeah.
Period. Now my staff, absolutely. They've been watching Kansas since the opening day. So we're way ahead of and we started that a little bit earlier this year. We usually waited. Let's get into December. Who's playing? Who's not? But we started all of them, especially with a conference game early. So we've invested. My staff has, to their credit, an insane amount of time on Kansas because of the Big 12 schedule. You play one conference game before Christmas, and this is a tough time of year. I think we've been doing this since June, the players, so it's like we're in finals week now. You play Kansas, and they want to go home for Christmas. I get it. So I'm like, I'm a big believer that finishing something is a skill, and we need to finish. And I tell our guys, we did not come this far to only come this far. So we got to hang on, get through finals, and hopefully Sunday be ready to play one more good game against a really good Kansas team, and then take a much-needed break and come back and sprint to the finish line.
Yeah, it's pretty wild in terms of the schedule because they played Sunday against Northern Iowa, then they play Sunday against Kansas, so it's basically a week between, and then 10 days again they'll play Houston. So, I mean, it's 2 games in 3 weeks, and then it's like, strap it in. You got games every day.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing about basketball, guys, is like once we get back from the holidays, we have 2/3 of our games left, but time-wise, 2/3 of the season is over.
Yeah.
Right.
So you just once that spigot opens and you go to Houston on December 31st, it's just nonstop. There's one bye in there, but it's and you're playing 3 games in a week, and now because of TV and we appreciate the work that everyone's doing to promote women's basketball, but now you're playing on different. It used to be just Wednesdays, Saturdays. Now you're playing Mondays and Thursdays and Fridays, and anytime you can get on TV, you got to take it. And that's what happened. Like when we played Wednesday against Iowa, it was one of the most watched women's game all year, and one of the most watched women's games in a long time. So you got to take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, Bill, I had a game this past Sunday, and I'm just curious, like your approach with your team this time of year, because it's a sleepy spot for everybody because you've got finals week, then you've got Christmas, then you've got the new year, and for you've got a Big 12 game coming up this weekend. So like you guys have to be dialed in.
Yeah, we do, and we've talked about it a lot, and maybe almost to the excess. Like I said, well, my number one skill set is I worry. I worry about that's my number one thing I do well is I worry about things. And this week worries me more than any week. Luckily, I'm not worried about their academics, but you're investing a lot of time. Your body's worn down, mentally, and their parents are like, hey, when are you coming home for Christmas? We're going to go to grandma's house. We got to get shopping done. Like, oh, by the way, we're playing a Big 12 game on national TV Sunday afternoon. It's like, do you have one, the old joke about they had their dress socks on underneath their game socks. And, it's like you just got to keep reminding them. I feel like we understand it, but at the same time, you just don't know. You don't know until you get there. But, that's why we're going to we took Monday, Tuesday off. We're going to shoot on Wednesday, kind of blow the dust off of them. Thursday, in and out in an hour, do Iowa State stuff, and then we prep 2 days. So we're trying to keep our rhythm, keep the things going, and just not let them leave something on the table. And we've done a great job of it so far, but we got a tremendous challenge in front of us Sunday.
Yeah. All right. Well said, as always. It's always fun to visit with you, and what an incredible start for your team. And, man, just when he thought Audie couldn't get any better, what a dynamic duo you've got. Coach Bill Fennelly for Iowa State, thanks for your time as always. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, brother. Take care.
Hey, thank you guys for all you do for the Big 12. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Go Cyclones.
See you, Bill.
Bill Fennelly joining us here, talking about his team. 12-0 start with wins over Iowa, 11th-ranked Iowa, 74-69 on Wednesday. They've got Kansas on Sunday before their break, and then Houston at Houston on New Year's Eve. All right, with James Westling, I'm Ari Tepkin. This is Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. Our Big 12 Today all Big 12 teams continue. We've gone through quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. Now we're on offensive line. The first team, second team, third team, all Big 12 offensive linemen are next with James Amari. This is Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. It's Big 12 Radio along with James Westling. I'm Ari Temkin. Pete Nakos from On3 Sports is joining us in about 40 minutes from now to give us a sense of his thoughts on what's happening in the transfer portal and all the other news going on around college athletics, college football. We've got Valder Void as well coming up in about 10 minutes from now, along with James Westling. I'm Ari Temkin. Great to have you with us today and every day here in your home for the Big 12. Tune in at Big 12 Studios. Super exciting times. We've got the college football playoff coming up this weekend. And then, of course, the quarterfinals, the semis, the bowl season, conference play. It's all here. Christmas, New Year's, it's all here. It's fantastic. All right, all this week, we've been breaking down our all Big 12 teams. First team, second team, third team. We've got Big 12 quarterbacks, Big 12 wide receivers, Big 12 running backs, which brings us to our Big 12 all offensive linemen.
So we've got 15 guys, right? Because there's 5 guys on a
everybody doesn't need a trophy, James. Let's make this the most elite of the elite lists, shall we?
Okay, so 3 dudes, our 3 best offensive linemen in the Big 12 this year.
Could be 3 tackles, could be 3
Yes, we're
centers,
playing
could be 2
6
guards,
men,
could be 1 tackle and 1 guard and 1 center. It doesn't matter.
We're not even playing 8-man football. We're playing like 5-man football with these numbers. But
Well, I don't know if you know this. None of these teams are going to come together to play in a football game, so
they can in my mind.
a lot of things can in your mind, James. All right, without further ado, let's get to it. Who is your third team all Big 12 offensive lineman?
Shout out to our guy Anthony Smith on the Big 12 studio side, because I had a last-second pivot, because I have to give some love to a guy that didn't make the first team all Big 12 team on the offensive line, which I think is a disservice to his career. Cincinnati Bearcats center Gavin Gerhardt is going to be probably a mid to late round NFL draft pick. He's 6'4", 310 pounds, almost 40 career starts at Cincinnati. He could have transferred out. He didn't. He ran the course, 2-time team captain. He was on the Remington Award watch list this season. Pro Football Focus grades him out as one of the best centers in the entire country. Multiple 1,000-yard rushers. Cincinnati didn't allow a sack until like week 9 this season, and he was the anchor of that offensive line that opened up a lot in the ground game and helped Brendan Sorsby have a monster year.
I love that call. I did not have Gavin on my list, but that's a good call. And, it's funny because I kept looking at some of these Baylor players and taking them off my list. Sawyer Robertson, Josh Cameron. Well, I'm not doing that for this guy. I'm going to give him the recognition that he deserves. I'm talking about Omar Egbedion, the Baylor offensive lineman who put together another fantastic season. This on the heels of a fantastic season. Look, this is a guy that, despite how bad the team was overall, this was an elite offense, and it was led by their offensive line, and that's why I put Egbedion on this list. Third team O-lineman Omar Egbedion from Baylor.
Love that pick, and he's an incredible story. Former walk-on, he's had a monster career for the Bears. One of the highest
graded offensive linemen in the Big 12 via Pro Football Focus.
And he'll be a pro. That's the thing. Like this league, you look at the official release, you look at all the options out there, and this league had a major uptick in the trenches this year, which is a big reason why Texas Tech and some of these other teams like BYU and Utah are where they are. Speaking of Utah, I go out to Salt Lake City and go with Caleb Lomu, who is not their number 1 offensive lineman. He is my second team all Big 12 offensive lineman. He was the other tackle across from Fano, just a sophomore. 6'6", 304 pounds, moves like a point guard, 4-star recruit out of high school. He redshirted in 23, became the starting left tackle last year, and absolutely blew up. First team all Big 12 this season. He's considered a first-round draft pick next year in the NFL draft. He is a legitimate offensive tackle prospect at the next level. Could be a top 10 pick. We'll see.
Yeah, number 2 for me are the second team all offensive linemen in the Big 12, which, by the way, Caleb Lomu, another great pick there. It was hard to keep both Fano and Lomu off my list, but certainly one of them not on my list. My second team, all Big 12 selection here, is the center for BYU, Bruce Mitchell. When you think about, Bruce Mitchell included on the Pro Football Focus, all Big 12 team, when you think about the success that BYU had on offense this year, it's hard to divorce him from that success. I mean, looking at a true freshman quarterback who needed a thrasher like Bruce Mitchell in front of him to lead that offensive line to really help him. But, I mean, he was the highest graded BYU offensive player with strong run blocking and no pressure allowed throughout the season, according to Pro Football Focus. So, yeah, big-time performer, Bruce Mitchell, my second team, all Big 12 offensive lineman.
You know, Ari, no, I'm not wearing one of those Google headsets where I can actually read your thoughts without verbally communicating, which that is a real thing, by the way. It's coming for us, mind reading. I could read your mind. I knew you'd have Mitchell on your list, which is why I included Gavin Gerhardt. That's synergy. That's synergy between us.
Okay, so what else do you know about me?
That's pretty much it. And that you play elite defense on
elite.
The ball. I'm talking like Houston level
floor
defense.
Slapping.
Yes, floor slapping. It's not the only thing he slaps. Spencer Fano is my first team all-league offensive lineman. 6'6", 310 pounds, local kid from Spanish Fork, Utah. He's been, first team all Big 12 for like a decade? This is his second year in a row that he's been first team all Big 12. He was a freshman All-American back in 2023, started over 35 games. He's going to be a top 10, I believe, NFL draft pick. He is, most draft scouts have him as the top offensive tackle prospect. He's going to be a first 10 pick, first round pick, I should say. No doubt about that. He is a beast. He is a dude, and he's why Devin Dampier had so much success in that Utah ground game this year. It didn't matter who was in at quarterback or running back. They were plowing for yards.
Yeah, there really isn't another answer here. Spencer Fano is the unanimous first-team offensive lineman out of the Big 12. The Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year via the coaches. Also coaches all Big 12 first-team offensive line selection. When you think about nearly 3,500 rushing yards for Utah this year, a big piece of that is what they had at left and right tackle, two future NFL offensive linemen, easy for me to say. Also top 10 in the country in sacks allowed this season. 11 sacks given up in 12 games. So, and what you'd expect more from a running quarterback like Devin Dampier. So, yeah, easy choice here for first team. Spencer Fano, unanimous selection there, no question about it.
Baller. Now, how does Utah replace him next year on the offensive line? They just got that massive cash injection, but offensive linemen are hard to find in the portal. There are not a lot of plug-and-play offensive linemen out there on the board. That's going to be something that's really interesting to keep an eye on.
Well, because that's a very premium position that if a guy's really good, teams are going to pay to not lose those guys. Mm-hmm. Arguably the most important position beyond quarterback would be offensive lineman. So, the issue is you can't plug and play guys along the offensive line in most situations because those guys tend to not be available.
You mean there's not a lot of 6'6", 310-pound grown men walking this planet that can run like a deer and get out on the edge and the perimeter and block for quarterbacks like Devin Dampier? Those don't just grow on trees?
Not so much. That's James Westling. I'm Ari Tepkin. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo. Valid or void? Will Kyle Whittingham be a head coach at the D1 level again? We'll get into valid or void next. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. It's Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. So nice of you to join us today and every day here in your home for the Big 12. And we are presented by our good friends at Modelo. Fan Rule. Usually have fan rules.
Yeah, what are they?
On the ready. I just threw it to you so that you could.
Oh, you're just throwing me the fan rules.
Yes.
So that was kind of
James,
that was more
give us a fan rule.
Okay, got it. That was in question format. Fan rules?
Fan rules? Do we have any fan rules for today's show?
Fan rule number 11. All rival fans must be treated with suspicion and hospitality in that order.
I would say that's pretty much how I deal with you.
Every day on this show.
Couldn't be nicer.
Suspicious.
Well,
hospitable.
I couldn't be nicer to you than while also being suspicious of your every move.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
What does that even mean?
Well, you went to Kansas State, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Plotting.
You just think I'm up to something.
You're up to something.
I'm up to something. We were grabbing coffee during the commercial break. And
you with your engineering school and your lack of medical school and law schools.
Okay. Time out. That's a personal attack. Okay, I do science. History, engineering, all the things. My future brother-in-law works in the CIA.
I do science.
That's a serious deal.
I do science.
I do science.
Who doesn't do science?
Who doesn't do science? I do a little science here. I do a little science there.
Bro, do you even science?
Do you even science? Also, number 14 fan rule. This is you to a T. You must pretend you understand the new depth chart, said the man who was raving about the season Brendan Mott would be having for Kansas State, even though he had departed. He had graduated. We've all been there. That's when we learned ChatGPT still has some things to
work out. Yeah. No, I mean, when you see that battle at center, running back, oh, please, you got to really lean in to those battles.
I am really excited that Kansas State's Joe Jackson is coming back.
I know. You were so excited. You put it like the first piece of the rundown, like as if we were going to lead the show with it.
Did I throw that on there?
Just like, hey, let's lead with this,
Joe
guys.
Joe Jackson will be back. Kansas State's going to be
shoeless Joe Jackson.
Holler next season.
There's one guy ready to blow up in the bowl game, and then never be heard of again. It's that guy.
That would be Dylan Edwards.
Yep.
Nice play.
Had Joe Jackson and Kansas State played a bowl game this year, I would have bet you $5 American that would have happened.
That's well played.
Thank you. Our fan rules, of course, presented by Modelo because, well, Modelo is for the full-time fan.
I never know how to sit in these chairs. I'm just moving around all willy-nilly over here.
Well, yeah, I have like severe ADHD, and I'm in a constant state of needing to reposition myself. And so I've found out, now that I'm a TV guy, that you kind of got to just sit there and really motion with your hands a lot.
Yeah.
That's like really what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Just really explore the hand space that you've got.
Explore the space.
But what I'd end up doing is just like a lot of this. It's just like,
very stiff.
I don't like how this ride's going.
Ari's doing the show in concrete today. He cannot move. This is like a hybrid show, right? It's a hybrid show. We're doing the TV side and the radio side. So I feel like because of the audio piece, which is a huge piece here on TuneIn, that there's a little more freedom to kind of move around in my chair. If I need to move around, if I need to squirm a little bit, I'm moving and I'm shaking.
All right. Let's move and shake to the biggest topics in Valid or Void. 5 hot topics from the Big 12. Producer Taman lays out the topics, and then one of us takes one side, and the other takes the other side.
Is that what we're doing? I thought I was doing the topics, and you were validating or voiding them.
Got it.
Yeah. Do you even segment, bro?
No, yeah.
Have you been on this show before?
Ari's thinking, let's get it on.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been on this program?
This is Valid or Void.
This is Big 12 Today. We are on Big 12 Radio. This show.
What argument segment is this?
Yeah. Okay, so I've come up with these 5 hot topics. Don't let T-Chain steal my thunder. All right?
Actually, it's all yours.
Great job, Taman.
Yeah, Taman came up with the topics. You refined the topics.
He set the table, and he did a fantastic job, Taman. Very well done.
He set the table, and you were like, let me come and mess some things up.
That's exactly what it was. It's like I got the wrong silverware. Where's the dessert? All right. Valid or void, Ari, number 1. Utah former Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham will be a head coach again at the D1 level. I say D1 because, sure, he can go coach some high school just to stay in the game or youth football team, whatever. No. D1 level, Kyle Whittingham, is he truly done? Valid or void?
Yeah, by the way, I wasn't going to question. I don't think 66-year-old Kyle Whittingham is going to keep coaching at, Wichita State or Bradley. Okay, I wasn't confused about that. I don't think we would see Kyle Whittingham.
Maybe he's got a
at
grandson.
South Dakota State.
He's like, I want to coach this high school team.
Valid.
Valid. We've got a valid. This is the first line one valid we've had in the history of the program.
I'm going to tell you the craziest thing I've ever thought. Okay, that's not true, but it's pretty crazy. Kyle Whittingham should be the next coach of Michigan.
Thought you might say Michigan.
I mean, they've had, tied to Jim Harbaugh, multiple coaches fired, suspended under Jim Harbaugh's coaching tree at Michigan. It's time to exercise the demons of Jim Harbaugh. Like one of the guys, they're talking about the defensive coordinator for the Chargers. No. Stop, Michigan. Don't do it.
Yeah, his son.
Jay Harbaugh's another one. No. Don't have anybody connected to Harbaugh. Just further yourself from the program, from Michigan. Kyle Whittingham's the perfect adult in the room to bring in this situation. You know what you're going to get. You get meat and potatoes, especially with the offensive and defensive linemen that Michigan can recruit. It's a no-brainer. Now, I don't think they're going to end up hiring him, but yeah.
They should call him.
They're
stupid if they don't.
Yep.
Like, don't hire another young up-and-comer like Sharon Moore.
And if you're,
hire a guy that goes in, cleans house, and dominates the line of scrimmage.
Like, if you're any program right now looking for, like, a meat and potatoes coach, like a guy that I know exactly what I'm going to get, I'm going to be really good along their offensive line, I'm going to run the football well, I'm going to be very good on defense. Like, it's a no-brainer. Kyle Whittingham is going to be coaching again. And it appears, based on what we've heard, that he was pushed out a little bit. So I could see him having it in him to want to coach again.
And our source was a sports reporter for KSL Sports.
Oh, wait, he said it publicly on this show.
He said it right on this show. Okay. Like, he didn't tell us text or anything. It was right here on the air.
It sounds a lot better.
Just kind of gloss over it. Where he was like, oh, yeah, Kyle Whittingham gave Utah's written notice and said, I want to come back next year. And Utah said, nah, not so fast. We were like, what?
Wait, what?
What did you just say?
It sounds way better, though, when you're like, people have told me.
Yeah.
I've heard from people.
My bad on that.
Maybe people were on the show saying it.
Maybe they were. All right, this will get you fired up. Number 3. We're going to skip number 2 because I know your answer. We got Nakos coming up here in 7. Number 3. Darren Peterson, Kansas basketball guard, will play in over half of KU's conference games this season.
Okay, so let's just do the quick math here, a little back of the napkin math. Kansas has played in 11 games so far. He's played in half of those?
He's played in 4.
4 is not half of 11.
It's like 36% from 3. I'm pretty good at math.
Got it. 36% of the games. So not quite 50, but also not far from 50. Now, I would imagine the Big 12 games are way heavier than the non-conference games, but then again, he didn't play against Duke, and he was held out against UConn.
Big 12 is back to an 18-game schedule, so he's got to play in 10 or more games if he's going to play in over half.
Yeah, he's almost had 10 different maladies he's been dealing with since the start of the season. I'll say void on that.
Void?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I want to see is different than what my eyes have already seen.
Okay. The Peterson tracker. Less than half.
He loves playing. He wants to play. He wants to be out there with his team. He just, it's quad, it's cramps, it's hamstring, it's, I don't know. His girlfriend left him, whatever else.
It's sad.
He fell out of a tree.
It sucks.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, me too. All right, I'm going to hit you with one basketball, one football to wrap here. Number 4. Houston. The Houston Cougars, reigning national runner-ups last year, is currently not the best resume. I'm just team. Houston is currently the 3rd best team in the Big 12. Valid or void?
James. Poor, simple James. Are you paying attention, James?
I'm not. I didn't say if I was validating or voiding it. These are just the topics. I mean, the wheels going.
No, void. No, they're not the third best team in the Big 12. They're probably the best team in the Big 12. Maybe the second best at worst. But here's the thing. They're still the champs. Back to back. Big 12 champs.
Hang on. I didn't ask who should be the preseason number one or who should be the favorite. I just asked Houston is the third best team in the Big 12 with a question mark on the end.
Valid. Void. Sorry. Which one is it? Void. Void. They're second at worst.
Okay.
Last time I checked, they won back-to-back Big 12 titles. I know you want to say that doesn't matter, but it matters until people prove it. They can beat you.
It does. It does. It does. It does. All right. Let's go back to football. Back out to Salt Lake City. Utah's head coach in waiting forever. Now finally the man in charge, Morgan Scalley. Morgan Scalley will win the third most games among first-year head coaches next year. You've got Colin Klein at Kansas State. You've got Jimmy Rogers at Iowa State. You've got Eric Morris at Oklahoma State. Where does Scalley fit into the bunch?
Why can't we just make this simple?
All right, he'll win
the most games.
He'll win the most games.
Third most?
Did I have a typo? I actually thought in my brain, did I have a typo on that one? Did I mean first?
Third most? I was told there'd be no math here, James.
Valid or void, Morgan Scalley will win the most games among first-year Big 12 head coaches next year.
Void.
Ooh. Who does?
Colin Klein.
Okay.
He's my guy, James. He's my guy.
Tell me one thing about Colin Klein.
I have been talking about him. He's from Colorado.
Okay, what's that?
Fort Collins.
No.
Boulder.
Loveland.
Close. Denver. It's the same difference. Why did I take the bait? I got fancy. What were we saying?
Who's his father-in-law?
He's my guy.
Who's his father-in-law?
Mr. Klein.
His father-in-law. Mr. Klein? He didn't take his wife's last name. Gary Spaney is his father-in-law. He's the all-time leading tackler in K-State football history. This man was born to be the next coach at Kansas.
Wow. Did not realize that.
Yeah, he's in the Ring of Honor. He's got his name on the
Did he meet his wife at K-State or meet him in Loveland, Colorado?
K-State.
Okay. He's my guy, though. Because I was the guy
Clearly.
from the start pointing out that he should be a Big 12 head coach. I was the one who scouted him.
It was you. Yeah. Yeah.
I looked at how his team performed when he was in K-State. Then I looked at how they performed when he was at Texas A&M, and I found him.
You found him.
I discovered him.
You discovered him. Yes. Yes, you found Colin Klein.
Give me the credit.
Man, a real needle in the haystack with that deep dive to recognize that he might be a good coach someday.
By the way, I think Morgan Scalley. No, not one day. Today. Because I've identified that he could coordinate offenses pretty successfully. It's rocket science here, James. You would understand.
Got it.
By the way, I don't even know that Scalley will finish among third most wins among new Big 12 head
You think
coaches.
Utah's going to be that down next year?
I think Oklahoma State and BYU and Oklahoma State and K-State will be that up.
Oklahoma State's going to surprise some people.
Who's the Big 12 coach?
Iowa State.
Where's Rocco
Rogers. That's a big question.
Yeah.
Big question. But
All right.
Drew Mestemaker, that freshman quarterback at UNT, is probably going to Oklahoma State, but Indiana's making a push.
Let's find out from Pete Nakos, college football insider on 3 Sports. He's next. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios, and presented by Modelo. Big 12 Radio. This is Big 12 Today on TuneIn. Also on Big 12 Studios. So great to have you with us. Along with James Westling, I am Ari Tepkin. We are moments away from visiting, we think, with Pete Nakos from On3 Sports as he gives us updates in the transfer portal. Even though the transfer portal hasn't opened, miraculously, there are players in the portal.
And a lot of them. A ton of guys and big names, like big name quarterbacks, are jumping in the portal so that they can be sought after at a very high level. I mean, why wait? If your team's not in the college football playoff and you know that you're not going to be back next season, you're going to test the market, get in there. Michigan State's Aiden Childs is a big name that's in the portal. We talked about DJ Lagway and, his connection to Baylor with his dad playing there. Sam Levitt, Brendan Sorsby, and those are three guys from right here that have not necessarily playing experience in the Big 12, but Big 12 ties in a big way.
Yeah. It's also sort of interesting because we await, I guess, the situation with Michigan football, but rumors continue to swirl about Washington football coach Jed Fish, as well as Kenny Dillingham, the Arizona State coach, despite, Kenny basically making a plea publicly to say, no, I'm going to be here. I'm committed to being here. Rumors continue to swirl about Michigan's involvement and wanting Kenny Dillingham. Makes a ton of sense to me. I'd want to hire Kenny Dillingham too, but he's shown a commitment to Arizona State.
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving. He got very emotional the other day, and we'll play that later in the week, but I think he wants to be at Arizona State. Like, the only way he leaves is if Arizona State says, we can't do even close to what you're wanting to be a national championship caliber program. I think that's the only way Dillingham even considers leaving Arizona State. But as this has transpired over the last couple of days, our buddy Chris Cartman, he's been all over it, and it sounds like Arizona State is going to get close enough that he's going to stay, which is a huge win for the Big 12. And we were talking about, what their quarterback position looks like next year. Kenny Dillingham is a guy who has mentored so many quarterbacks, even at a very young age, that it's going to be a very attractive destination for a big name. Like, they're going to have a big name quarterback under center next year. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Here's what Kenny Dillingham said to our buddy Chris Cartman from Sun Devil Sports about the Michigan rumors.
I guess. I mean, that's one of the best programs in the country. It's one of the most, it's one of the best logos in the country. I think everybody can agree there. Today's era is one of the best jobs in the country, and I think everybody can attest to that. That doesn't change how I feel out here. That doesn't change that my sister's my neighbor. That doesn't change that my parents live 3 doors down. That doesn't change that my son's best friend is my sister's daughter. So none of that changes, but it is one of the best jobs in America. It's an unbelievable brand, iconic brand, and it's a great opportunity for somebody.
You said on a recent podcast that you hadn't had any conversations with any schools during the season. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I mean, I had one conversation with a school because the AD kept calling us right after the season. Said, "Listen, I appreciate it, but that's not something for me. But I respect I respect you as a person. But it wasn't for a job. It was more out of respect for somebody. Other than that, I still have not had any contact myself with anybody."
All right, who do you think that was?
Man, I was thinking the same thing.
Auburn?
Was it Auburn? Was it Florida? Was it Ole Miss?
LSU?
Man, it could have been
any
of them.
I'd love to be in that. They just wouldn't stop calling. It's
Right?
like, all right, I eventually had to call him back and be like, yo, bro, appreciate you, respect you. I'm good, thanks.
But I love...
Can't a guy just exist without being offered jobs?
I love the family aspect of it and how transparent he is about his son's best friend and his wife's parents living 2 houses down and the community aspect of it all. And, I mean, it's so much more than just a coaching decision. Like, we look at these things so black and white in terms of, it's a pay raise and it's a bigger conference, if you want to even call it that, and it's a prestigious program. Like, there's so many more human aspect decisions that go in or factors that go into these type of decisions. And it's just nice to hear a guy like Kenny Dillingham laying it all out there. Like, I have to have these discussions with my wife. This is a very much family decision, And there are so many more things that go into it than just what we see in terms of the football.
Yeah, no, well said. And look, I mean, Kenny's got to play the game because he's got to, get some concessions and get, he's got to get money for coaches and for NIL. And so, he's got to play the game to a degree, but it's clear based on the guy that's from the area, that went to Arizona State, lives by his parents, has his sister around and their kids. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And it's, it's not just Kenny. I mean, Matt Campbell just left, but how many times did he say no? And there are a lot of coaches in the Big 12 that aren't necessarily looking for the first exit ramp.
Exactly. And maybe over time, Kenny entertains some of these offers because he's going to continue to win at Arizona State. I mean, what he did this year with all the injuries that program and that team went through, all the off-the-field distractions with Sam Levitt entering the portal, and that gets leaked before he wants to make his official announcement, and then his brother's on social media saying, well, that's not true, and it was just this huge circus. And he still gets a team to 8-4 and in a really nice bowl game, even with all that. So that says a lot about his coaching ability.
Yeah, here's what Kenny Dillingham said to ASU fans who wonder when they hear his name tied to other jobs.
I think it's a testament to what the president's done, what the AD's done, the city's selling out, the kids who chose to come back here when they could have gone other places. So I think it's a testament to everybody. I know every coach says that in this scenario, but it actually is. Right? It's a testament to everybody. And when you're the leader of a group of people, you're not making individual decisions. You're making group decisions. You're making group thought. And I think for me, I know where I stand. I know what I want. And, as a leader of a group, it's my job to take care of groups of people and to do right by groups of people, not just, Kenny Dillingham.
That's impressive. That is true leadership. And I'm excited about what Arizona State could look like next year. Like, they just went to the college football playoff last season. They go 8-4. There's no reason to believe that they can't get back to that level. Even with the lack of NIL or wherever they sit, maybe they're middle of the conference, top 50 nationally. They're still recruiting at a very high level. They're going to have the Sam Levitt dollars, whatever those were, to go find somebody else. They're going to have the Cam Scatterbo dollars that they'll be able to kind of, and the Jordan Tyson dollars from the last couple of seasons to build a really good football team. Wanted to ask you about USC and the way they've kind of handled this offseason with some of their social media stuff. USC has been announcing contract extensions. It's no longer national letters of intent or, this guy's coming back next year. Like, they're going all in on this NFL language. Contract extensions. This player has signed an extension to be with us next year. They've gone all in on the NFL. Like I said, the language that they use.
Well, and this gives us a pretty good insight into what's happening behind the scenes. That these are constant and ongoing discussions. And, I think one of the major issues is that these are all renewable one-year contracts. And so, you're basically looking to re-recruit your roster every year and then having to figure out, okay, which guys are we okay to lose and which guys are we okay to not lose? Which guys do we have to go all in on to make sure that they return? I think, the fact that that's being said from USC's vantage point is, it's been said differently in different ways of like he's returning, right? Like we'll see some other Joe Jackson's coming back to K-State.
Exactly.
Instead of like he's received an extension. But even if they get multiple year deals, James, it feels like it doesn't matter every year's free agency because they're almost unenforceable. Like they're very one-sided for the player to get money, but on the other side, they get no assurances to the university. That's just sort of the nature of the beast right now. So I think what happens is you get guys that have a certain amount of leverage that say, hey, this is how much I want. This is what I'm being offered in the portal. Either you can take it to me or I'm going into the portal. And sometimes you see guys play ball, and other times you see them say, all right, well, go walk. And then they enter and go to the portal and potentially go elsewhere.
Wake Forest has inked contract extensions with the following players, and then they list 3 or 4 guys. Wow. So they're using that same language. But we've talked a lot about, this summer especially when the House settlement was all going down, about the thought of programs signing guys with stipulations in their contract that if you transfer, maybe you don't get a certain amount of dollars, or you have to give some of it back, or there's some type of buyout fee that the other school has to pay to have you on their roster. I would love to know what some of the language in these contracts looks like, especially at a place like Texas Tech where they seem to be ahead of the curve when it comes to all of this. I mean, they signed a contract with Felix Ojo, right? Who's that number one offensive lineman prospect in the class of 2026, I believe.
Yeah.
And they signed him to a 3-year deal. When he committed to Texas Tech and chose Tech over Texas and all these other blue blood programs, it was very transparent. It's a 3-year deal. Well, what does that 3-year deal look like if he doesn't stay 3 years? Is there a buyout? Is it truly written like an NFL contract? We don't know because we haven't seen them, but...
Well, I'm sure that stuff is in there. The problem is whether or not these schools are willing to go and enforce it.
Right. Are they going to actually go after the money? And right now...
In some cases, we've seen them, some programs want to do that. In other cases, they haven't.
Yeah, who is the kid? Was it Rashada, the quarterback?
Yeah, Jaden Rashada.
Somebody's going after him.
Jaden Rashada, yep.
I mean, that case is just kind of sitting out there right now because it takes a long time. All of this takes a really long time, which is why the Deloitte Clearinghouse can't keep up with all these NIL deals and contracts, and it's just right back to what it was before with it being the wild, wild west of free agency. It's going to be a smaller window on paper, but there's nothing even that can enforce that. I mean, these guys, I am addicted to watching the transfer portal tracker right now because so many guys are saying, yeah, I'm going to be in the portal or I'm not going to be in the portal, even though it doesn't open for another couple of weeks.
Right. I mean, every year is free agency. That's what it is. And I get that side of coaches complaining about it. Like, if there's one thing that needs to be reined in, it's these contracts. But the issue with that is, again, they all have language in there that stipulates certain things. It's whether or not, one, they are willing to enforce it, take a kid to court because of the court of public perception. In some cases, like a Jaden Rashada, it's overwhelming and they have to do it. In other cases, though, they kind of just let it slide because it's part of the game. Mm-hmm. You got to play the game.
We talked about the Big 12 guys that are in the portal, or Big 12 schools that are going after some of these guys that are in the portal. So we hit on Leavitt and Sorsby and Joe Jackson coming back to Kansas State. Oklahoma State wide receiver Shamar Rigby is going to be in the portal. Oklahoma State quarterback Zane Flores is going to be in the portal. And then Colorado defensive tackle Jaheim Otis, who's going to be one of the most sought-after defensive linemen. He just recently announced, like 12 hours ago, that he's going to be in the portal. So, I mean, there are a lot of Big 12 guys that are either announcing that they're going to be coming back or that they're going to be in the portal, and Sorsby's probably at the front of the list. Who would you rather have right now, Sam Leavitt or Brendan Sorsby?
Brendan Sorsby. Which is odd, right? A year ago, it was like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So what changed in a year? Because Sorsby, are we not attributing the end of the year decline to Sorsby? Does he getting a pass for that?
2 years in a row.
Now, Leavitt, maybe he's held back by the injury that he had last year.
I think it's that, yeah.
To me, it's also part of the, it says a lot about you that you decided to walk away without the award ceremony, right? Like, do you have to go to that? No, but it says a lot, right? Yeah. Are you a leader? If you're a leader, you probably don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It says selfish. That's what that says to me.
Well said. And they're very different. They're very different guys. We talked to both of them at media days, and
Sam was not happy with me. By the way, I was right. I wasn't right about Sawyer Robertson, but I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, you were. You were the kiss of death.
That's right.
But, I mean, Sam Leavitt is a guy that
all he did was hurt himself trying to prove me wrong.
Got hurt, doesn't show up to his team awards banquet. He was the only captain that wasn't in attendance. Everybody else was on stage. Everybody else spoke to the team. He was a no-show. And Brendan Sorsby is a guy that he's on the total flip side. Great kid. Struggles with his confidence. Like, his teammates have to build him up, and he struggled coming into this year with that aspect of his game based off of what happened at the tail end of last season. But now he's playing like he's the man, and I think that's where his game went to the next level this season. Wasn't anything he was doing differently in terms of his ability, how strong his arm was, accuracy, none of that. It was all upstairs. It was all mental for him, and now he knows that he can be a pro.
Let me ask you this. Today, would you take Texas Tech to win the Big 12 next year or the field?
Texas Tech.
I would too. That says a lot, right?
I mean, when they're talking
15
about
other teams we could take. 15 other teams.
And the reason for me is the gap between Texas Tech and who was very clearly the second best team in the league. I mean, they beat them 29-7, then they beat them 34-7. Had those games been a little bit closer, yeah, maybe I take the field. But with Texas Tech and their scouting department and their analytics team believing they're going to be even better next year, I believe in that. I believe in what James Blanchard, the general manager, is doing. I believe in Joey McGuire because they hit it out of the park with this class much better than I think I could have even imagined coming into the season. I thought, man, they're a top 10 team, top 10 roster. I didn't think top 4.
Yeah.
I mean, they exceeded even those expectations. So, yeah, Tech.
Well, and it'd be really interesting to see who they lose. I believe they're going to add Sorsby. And I think Dickey and Williams are back next year, if I'm not mistaken.
They are. They're both just sophomores.
So knowing Sorsby's running ability paired with those two guys, because remember, Morton's not much of a runner. So the fact that their running game was so effective this year with the quarterback that is more of a pocket passer, what will it look like next year with more of a mobile quarterback? And then, of course, are they going to lose? What are they going to lose at wideout? Certainly, they're not going to have everybody back, and some of those guys will lose eligibility too.
Yeah, they're going to have an entirely different roster next season. Like, you're losing Morton. The only guys that we'll recognize will be Dickey and Williams. I don't know what type of eligibility they have for a guy like Caleb Douglas or Coy Aiken.
Reggie Virgil.
But their entire defense, I mean, 9 of their 11 starters are off to the NFL. I mean, they have an entire defense that's going to be in the league next season. So on that side of the ball, which was their calling card this year, that's going to be a complete overhaul. But again, just something about the way Blanchard scouts, the way they massage and maneuver financially, the house settlement and salary cap, if you will, for college football, there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to have another elite defense under Sheil Wood. And that's the one consistent piece that will be back next year. Sheil Wood, the defensive coordinator, who did a marvelous job with that bunch this season.
Big 12 Radio, this is Big 12 Today, along with James Westling. I am Ari Temkin. We are presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios. Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios. A couple of big weeks coming up with the college football playoff. And we will be off on this show between Christmas and New Year's. However, we'll be doing a show on New Year's Day because we love you all so very much. No, that's not it. Well, I mean, it is it. You going to mime this segment or are you going to jump in?
I mean, we love each other. We love the audience. There's nothing but love.
Just a bunch
For
of
a New Year's Day show.
bunch of dudes
Why
loving.
take the day off when we can work? But this isn't work. It's fun.
Texas Tech and Oregon for the Orange Bowl.
Or James Madison.
Of course, who could forget about the fourth president of the United States? Why'd you mention James Madison? Oh, because they're playing the game against Oregon. That's right. So Texas Tech, Oregon in the Orange Bowl on January 1st. And we will have a preview for you. I will be live on the field at the Orange Bowl. You will be here in studio along with Tame and T. T-Chains, our producer. So that'll be great. And hopefully, with Texas Tech winning, we'll then be able to go to the Peach Bowl the following week.
Is James Madison's coach coaching in that game? Because he's off to UCLA, right?
I would think so.
I mean, I would think so, too.
It's amazing how confusing this is.
Right?
Like, is Brendan Sorsby going to play in Cincinnati's bowl game? Probably not. No?
No, I don't.
Right, so
think
bowl games are
so.
pretty obvious to figure out, right? I mean,
I guess he could.
right. And then when it's like, well, so will the coach's coach? Is Colin Klein calling plays for Texas A&M?
And that he is. He's going to finish the season.
But then I heard
Texas
that they
A&M.
elevated a new offensive I'm so confused.
But did they elevate him just for this game? Are they elevating him for next season? Have they already made that decision?
I mean, it's sort of insane when you think about, like, how much the coaching carousel is impacting the playoff. Like, Ole Miss is going to host a playoff game without their head coach.
Right. Yes. I mean, it's a problem. I mean, Joey McGuire's right when he talks about the calendar and the fact that it is a problem. And his solution was we move up the season a week, eliminate some of the buys, and get the whole thing done for the national championship game to be on January 1st, like it used to be back in the day. Not actually that long ago. And then you ramp everything up for January 2nd.
I don't know that there's any change to the calendar that will change the coaching carousel.
Right.
Because, I mean, the reality is coaching firings are being moved up because, again, the arithmetic is much easier than it used to be. Like, it used to be, you'd wait till the end of the year to fire your coach. Give him the season. See how it all shakes out. Now it's like, as soon as we're eliminated from playoff contention, boom, we're out, we're on to the next guy. And you're not going to change that. In fact, you're only going to make that worse when you expand the playoffs, if and when that happens. So maybe you can do some things to change some things about the coaching carousel, about the portal, about NIL. But, I mean, as we see, like, the portal, the timing of the portal doesn't even matter. Like, they can make it whenever they want. Guys are going to make decisions and say publicly whether or not they're going to go to the portal well before the portal opens. Like, the portal doesn't open until early January, yes? Was it January 2nd, January 3rd?
We still have over 2 weeks before it officially opens.
We know who's in the portal already.
Yeah. And how many guys will be in the portal that are playing in the college football playoff? How many guys at James Madison? Their coach is out the door. Same thing at Tulane. Their coach is out the door. Ole Miss. Coach has already left. Now, Ole Miss is doing their best to keep it all together by promoting guys that were on Lane Kiffin's staff. But at James Madison and at Tulane, how many of those guys are playing to win that game versus to have really good tape for wherever they're going to be next season?
Yeah.
Because if your coach leaves, why shouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that is why, like, James Madison and Tulane, they're going to play their tails off, but are they playing for each other? Are they playing for their school? Or are they playing for the scouts for next season and when they enter the portal?
Well said. All right, that's James Westling. I'm Ari Tepkin. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. I got to admit, I'm kind of disappointed in T-Chains, our producer.
What did I do?
Where's the Christmas music, T-Chains? I've been waiting anxiously, patiently for some Christmas bumpers here. What, am I wrong here, James? How is it that the Jewish guy has to bring up the Christmas music
What is this, day 2 of the Hanukkah? Correct?
We're into night 3 now of
Night
Hanukkah.
3. I thought it was. I thought yesterday was night 1. I'm all back.
I mean,
This
how
week
could
is
you
all-
forget, James, after we had an illicit
And
conversation?
I apologize for saying that. It's an inside joke. Said it one time, and I keep saying it, and I shouldn't. But yeah, I'm down for the.
It's horribly offensive.
I can tell. I can tell that you want to punch me in the face.
Thank you.
We've been rolling
There
with
you go.
the cozy Christmas jazz playlist.
Well, let's be careful with this one. I don't want Mariah suing us.
She will.
But I'm a big Christmas music fan. Like, I love Christmas music. I love Christmas movies. And, like, it feels like this is the time of the year. Like, I'm sort of ashamed to admit this. I drove to the station this morning listening to Christmas music.
Like, the hard stuff, like your Metallica,
No.
or more this. Okay.
I like
This is Ari's soft side.
Nothing gets me hyped more than this. I mean, high energy, ready to go.
Holy night. Oh, when they get to the build up,
It was really yeah.
Oh.
It's a thing.
I get all the feels.
Yeah.
I don't even been to church on Christmas Day, and I get the feels like I'm walking into a
This
cathedral.
and It's All Coming Back to Me Now by Celine Dion. Those two, you can't match that energy. Cannot match it.
I mean, Little Drummer Boy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rum pum pum
The
pum.
original or Pentatonics?
All of them.
Because they've got
every one of them.
versions.
See, and there's different moods for different versions. Like this song,
Yeah. See, I'm very
give me the symphony version of this song, and I'm all in.
and I'm very particular.
Perfect timing.
You're very particular. Go ahead.
Yeah. Put me to sleep there for a second. Felt good. Very particular about the versions. Like, there was a version.
Okay, what's your favorite Oh Holy Night?
version? All right.
Well, you just said you're particular about the versions. I'm literally asking about one of the most famous
This-
Christmas songs ever.
no, this
What's
is-
your? There's a million versions of
This
Oh
one's
Holy
too
Night.
slow. This one's too slow. Give me some Last Christmas by Wham or Jimmy Eat World, or there's like a rap version now, which is sick. It's all over all these TikToks. I'm trying to find out who actually did that. But we were. It is. There's like a rap hybrid version of Last Christmas. It's a banger. It's got like Tupac vibes. It is sick. I'll find it. I'm gonna play it
It
tomorrow.
might be a Tupac, for all I know.
It might be.
He's still releasing
You
music.
put the Last Christmas like beat behind a rap. It is. I'm telling you.
Can you beatbox it?
Mash
Can you
it.
just give us a
No,
sense.
You can do that. Yeah. I mean, this one's fine, but yeah, this was good. It's pretty good. We were rolling around Central Market, and I had my phone out like I'm trying to get service, trying to hit my Shazam to figure out what version of this Christmas song it was. It was a banger. It wasn't this one, but it was. It's all about the versions.
So are you a Wham fan or not?
I like that move. That's kind of your go-to, I've noticed. Ari's dancing again. It's kind of
It's his Christmas dance.
I call it. He's doing the Harley. He's doing the Harley. He's on the bike. There it is. He's on the bike. Yeah, we're in third gear. I don't want to see fourth, but we're in third. Powering through on the Harley. Hit the hammer. Good stuff, Taman. Yeah,
Christmas movies or Christmas music?
We gotta get some movies.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Elf, Four Christmases is super underrated. It's hilarious. I love it.
Your number one
Christmas
better be
Vacation,
my number one.
which is
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Yeah, I mean it cracks the
Eh.
top 5.
What? You see,
Classic.
you guys are older millennials.
many Home Alones have they
for
done?
younger millennials, Home Alone 1 and 2 top.
oh no, yeah, no.
Have you seen
we're
Christmas
the right age for that?
Vacation,
Yes.
Taman?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Elf.
Elves.
My
also.
wife loves that
How
one.
about the feel goods though? We're in Laughing Town here. What about the feel goods? It's a wonderful life.
No.
Santa Claus
Yeah, that
with
one's
Tim Allen.
Yeah, that one's pretty good actually. It's pretty good.
That's a feel good movie. Gives you all the feels.
I want joy and laughter at Christmas. I've got 11 other months to get all the feels.
Do you?
Feels year round.
You're not really a feely guy.
Year round for me. That's not true.
See, James has the holidays. He has his anniversary in December. December's a holy month.
My dad's
holy
birthday,
month, yeah.
my cousin's birthday. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot going on. But, man, I crushed it this year with the gifts. Just absolutely crushed it. I cannot wait for that big reveal on Christmas Day.
Okay, what'd you get?
Going to melt. I can't tell you. She might be watching.
You know she's not.
All right? She could be. She's working from home today.
What
Her
did you,
gallbladder hurts. She might have us on the air, on the big screen.
her gallbladder hurts?
Yeah, it's not good.
How can one identify, like, if I had a stomach pain, I wouldn't be like, oh, it's my gallbladder.
Well, it's happened before.
Got it.
So, yeah.
I feel you. My mom had a similar thing when I was a kid.
I don't know much about the gallbladder.
No,
But
I don't think
apparently
many
it's
do.
very painful.
Yeah.
Who knew? What are you going to get for Christmas?
Like, what are people getting me?
More specifically, your wife.
What is she getting me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably a new pair of shoes because you make fun of my shoes every day. I go
Now we're
home, I'm
talking.
Like, already made fun of my shoes again.
Yeah. I mean, you got the same plain Jane shoes. We got to get you some J's.
These are Air Max 1s, bro. These are, but they're looking pretty rough.
You have every version of Nike except for the greatest ones you could possibly own.
That's very true.
Named after and for the greatest basketball
Yeah,
player
my
in the
favorite
history
player
of the
all
world.
time, Mitch Richmond.
All right. Thank you to Anthony Smith, our great producer with Big 12 Studios. Thanks to Taman Turner, our great producer with Tune In. Thanks to James Westling, our co-host. I'm Ari Temkin. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, presented by Modelo. We're back tomorrow, but for now we're out. Peace.
Here's